partnership. Okay, I am currently on Twitter Spaces, and I'm rocking on the ones and twos with you guys. I'm on Facebook Live, and today I'm going to be discussing a couple of things with you guys. We're going to be talking about giving you guys some ideas on how to start a business, where to start a business for children, and then we're also going to be talking about the differences between starting generational wealth, building from a college perspective, and then also we're going to give you guys an idea of where to start a limited liability company, what states allow children limited liability companies, okay, and S corps and all of that stuff, and then we're also going to give you guys 5 key accounts that everyone should know about in regard to building generational wealth for children. Without further ado, let me go over to my sister Sierra. Okay, Sierra, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you want to tell the people who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sierra Taylor. I am a real estate professional here in Southern California. I am also a veteran, a board member of multiple nonprofits, as well as an investor. And what else do I do? Oh, yeah, I'm also an accountant by trade. So I look forward to pouring into this conversation because I too am a small business owner as well.
Outstanding, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. I see my sister Cynthia Wade just came in the building. Listen, now Cynthia, let me give Cynthia is this is one of the people that makes it happen. She is our office executive along with Bevan, and then she's also an executive in our company, TC Me. Okay, so welcome to the stage, Cynthia. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate you for coming up here. And I'm super excited about what we're going to be doing today. Bruno, you want to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yeah, man, most definitely. Hey, guys, good morning. So, my name is Bruno, and I'm down here in Southern California. So, I am a real estate investor and an educator. I'm also a real estate agent full time. Just recently retired from the Marine Corps after 20 years. And, man, just excited to be here to be able to tap in, from having experience of being a business owner and, having gone to college and kind of tap into give the experiences and my take on it and see how it is that we can help people elevate themselves today, man.
Outstanding, guys. And then listen, check this out. What I bought in today is if you guys can y'all see me on Facebook? Do me a favor, Ian. Put the YouTube channel at the top for right now. So I want people to actually physically see this. Okay, I'm going to put a YouTube channel up, and I got something in my hand, and I'm going to read a couple of documents out. And then McGinna that's here, make sure you bring her up, bring her on stage if you can. And guys, listen, there's so much information that we got to pass today. Okay, you're going to know every single thing that you need to do for setting up your kids for financial stability through establishing a trust, okay, creating a business for your child, what states that you're going to actually be able to set these limited liability companies are. We're going to talk about general partnership and limited partnership. And we're going to talk about all of the documentation that you guys are going to need in order to do that. So here's what we're going to do as we're putting that YouTube channel space up top so you guys could do. As a matter of fact, let's do the Facebook group instead. Okay. And then we'll end with the YouTube channel. Okay. Here's what I'm going to ask all of you guys to do that are in the listening lounge, because we currently have 42 people in this space today, right now. What I'm going to ask you guys to do, if you're in the listening lounge, what we're going to ask you guys to do to get this information out to the masses is I'm going to ask you guys to click the little clipboard right next to the microphone on the stage, and I'm going to respectfully ask for you guys to do me one solid. I want you to raise your hand and get on stage. Okay. And guys, if you have someone in the chat, right? If you have a kid or if you have a nephew that you guys that you love, I want you to put their name in the chat right now. Okay. I'm going to type it in the chat right now. I'm going to put Carson and Anthony in the chat. That's my kids. Okay. Karson and Anthony. Okay. I just put it in the chat. And the reason why I did that is because I love my children more than anything, guys. Anything. I mean, they mean the world to me, right? So as we go through this space, I want you to put your kid's first name in there. okay? Put their first name in the chat right now. For those of you who are in the listening lounge, I don't see the chat bubbling up, guys. If you got kids, Sierra, Bruno, Cynthia, McGinna, Brittany, everybody in the listening lounge, if you have children, I want you to put their name in the chat. I see Rose, okay? My little niece. I see Lisa. I see Tori. Thank you, Chad, for putting that information out there. I see Gabriel, Jayla, Peyton, Brendan. I see Aaliyah. Okay, well, guess what? If you guys are in this room today, guess what we're going to do? We're going to teach you guys how to get to the bag and structure everything that you need in order to win, okay, with businesses versus limited liability, business versus college education. All right. So without further ado, let me go over to Ian Jensen. Ian, you want to introduce yourself, let the people know who you are and what you do?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Name's Ian Jensen. I'm a real estate investor and real estate agent down here in Southern California. Getting into the multi-unit space, and on top of being an educator for the VA loan and all our different platforms here. So I just want to thank everybody for coming in here and supporting us, but more importantly, coming in here to support yourself and learning all the knowledge you need to go out there and fish. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it back to Tony, and let's kick it here. I'll share any kind of expertise I can. And remember, y'all, like, we are here to help you guys. So if you need anything at all, just make sure you reach back to us to make sure that we can have any kind of contact with you through our Facebook group, any of our social medias. If you need something, just hit us up, and we'll do everything we can to get you supported. Thank you, sir. Back to you.
Outstanding, guys. And for those of you, I need your help. I see Chad, Sean, Zaid. I see Doctor. I see Marina. I see Chris. I see Precious, Savoy. Raise your hand, get on stage. If you guys got a little red ticket by your name, I'm going to respectfully ask every single person right now to hit that clipboard and get on stage. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to give this information to you guys for free. I'm not charging you guys any money for it. We're putting this information. I kind of feel like where we're at today and some of the things that we're going to start with, and I'm gonna share the first thing that we're going to talk about are the states that you guys could set up the limited liability companies in. Okay, do any one of the moderators want to tell me what are the states that you can set up a minor LLC? Can you explain to me how to do that? And then we're going to talk about what you're going to have to do to establish a business for your children and how easy it is to establish a business. And we're going to give some ideas. So right now, hit that little clipboard down at the bottom next to the microphone. Come on stage. We're not going to bite you. I'm going to invite you guys up to the stage. And the reason why we're asking you guys to get on stage is what it does for us is it helps curate the space. Okay. It lets everybody know that you're here. Okay. And then what that does is it helps us grow the space. Okay, so Bruno, you want to start with the actual states?
Yes, my bad. So we got California, Delaware, Wyoming, and Ohio.
Okay, so right now we're going to put those in. Bruno's going to put that in the chat. These are the only states that you can set up. Okay, a limited liability company for minors. Okay, now here's what we're going to talk about with this. Okay, so here's an example of how to start a business for your children or a business idea for your kids. Okay, so the reason why we want to start with those states: California, Delaware, Ohio, and Wyoming. Okay, if you notice, he put it in alphabetical order. The acronym is easy to remember: CDOW. California, Delaware, Ohio, and Wyoming. Now, what you guys are going to need, okay, let's just say, and Jason, thank you for joining us on Twitter Spaces. Really appreciate you. Thank you for coming up. And for those of you who are in the Facebook group, thank you guys for pulling up today. If you have questions, make sure you put it in the chat. Guys, we are here to help you guys win, okay? And a lot of things that we're going to talk about today is going to be a little bit unorthodox from what you guys are used to, okay? So for those of you, I need at least 10 people right now to raise their hand to get on stage, and I'll explain what the paperwork that you guys are going to need in order to establish that those corporate structures in those states. Okay, so I need 10 people to raise their hand as we go on to the next moderators because I need help growing the space, guys. So for those of you who are just joined the room and you're in the listening lounge chilling, about to get all of this fire information, all we're going to ask you guys to do is just get on stage And for those of you who are on stage, there's a little bald-headed man with a plus sign. I want you guys to ping some people into the space. So right now we're simulcasting and getting this information out so we can grow our YouTube channel, so we can push this information out to the masses. And this is going to be the pace for those of you who have just joined the space. We're going to teach for 20 minutes. We're going to reset the room, give a couple of mod introductions, and then we're going to go to questioning. And that's going to be the pace of the room. This is a no pitch, no spam zone. For those of you who have a little red ticket, click on the little white and black and red W at the top of the space and join the house. We do these rooms every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we talk about how to win in real estate. And also we're going to be sharing during the power hour. Okay, we're going to tell you guys how we landed a multi-million-dollar deal with Grant and Elena Cardone and how you guys could be a part of that, okay? So that's our ask. Right now we have 4. I need 6 more people to raise their hand and come on stage. Moderators, please help bring them up. And let's go over to my man, Ian Jensen, for a quick introduction.
I just introduced myself a minute ago, Tony. But
Oh, shoot, man. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ian Jensen. Welcome. Hi, thank you. All right, back to y'all.
Okay, sorry about that. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, since I need 4 more people to raise their hand and come on stage. Okay, and then once you get on stage, Jamisha, what you doing down there? Come on up. Okay, so let's see, Brittany, Anthony, Moran, I see you in here.
I'm up here.
Okay, outstanding. All right, so I see my man Anthony Renew just joined. What's up, Anthony? I see you. Sean, I see you in the building. Thank you for joining. Okay, all right. So here's what you're going to need next, okay? We're going to go over 2 fundamental documents that you guys are going to need to set up your limited liability company for a minor. And then we're going to be talking about the 2 ways. We're going to talk about the differences between setting up the company with your kids and setting up the company with you being on there. Okay. All right. So here's what what I'm going to ask. Okay. So the main moderators, I want you guys to talk about the operating agreement. Okay. So who's going to talk about the operating agreement?
That's me. I got it. All right. So, I want to kick over about the operating agreement. Okay. So operating agreement, this is something that you're going to be dealing with whenever you're doing business in different states. Okay. Oh, wait, no, excuse me. Hold on. I'm getting mixed up. So there's 2 things that we're going to go over today, right? That on this particular topic is the operating agreement and the certificate of authority. All right. So an operating agreement, this is an internal document whenever you have some kind of business or an LLC. All right. So what it does is it lays out who is in charge of what and who has the authority to make decisions on behalf of the company. So in this situation, like say you have an LLC and there's multiple different people that are owners of the company. All right, so what we're going to do is make sure that we set in place the hierarchy of decision making. So in case there's any kind of conflict, we have somebody who's held accountable to make the decisions that need to be done, right? So in this case, this is how it applies to the topic of the day. Because the topic of the day is like kids in business, right? So this is how you can open up a business in your child's name. So for instance, if we're in one of those states, California, Delaware, Ohio, or Wyoming, and you open a business in that child's name, little Johnny is now the owner of this business. But in the operating agreement, you state that you, the adult, is in charge of all the decision making. So that's what's called like a general partner in that company, right? So what happens is that person has all the authority, but then the minor in this example has all the benefits of ownership. So that way you can control it, but they have the benefits of ownership. So you're building together capital, income, and collateral for that child. Back to you, Tony.
Outstanding. And make sure, I got a question for you guys. Is this room public? Can you guys see it in your hallway? For those of you who are on stage that's not mods, did you guys see this in the hallway? I want to make sure that the room is public. Can y'all double check and make sure the room is public real quick for me? Okay. All right. So
I clicked up top and it says public.
okay, magnificent. Okay, I want to make sure. Thank you for giving me that information. Okay, because sometimes Clubhouse is getting kind of wacky, man. Usually we have already 100 people in here, but that's okay. We want to make sure that we continue to rock and roll. Okay, so right now I want everybody here. Okay, so step one is figure out the 4 states that allow minor limited liability companies: California, Delaware, Ohio, and Wyoming. That's step one. Okay, number 2 is you're going to need the operating agreement. Operating agreement. The operating agreement is a document that basically explains what you're supposed to be doing within the company and who the partners are. Just like Ian said, the operating agreement is going to basically say that one of the biggest things that you want to relinquish within the operating agreement, pay attention, okay? I don't see operating agreements. I see 37 people here right now. I don't see operating agreement in the chat. The reason why I'm asking you guys to do that is so you guys can go back and reference the notes that we're putting inside of the chat, okay? And Ian, what he's going to do is he's going to give you the definition of the operating agreement in the chat as well, okay? And I see my sister Samara that's here. Thank you for pulling up. Okay, so now for the operating agreement, what up, Ian? Ian, good to see you, brother. Okay, Ian is on Facebook Live. And guys, if you guys click above our head, you should be able to see a link.
Whoa, that is close.
Okay.
That is a close up.
I'm getting
fluff up here.
Okay, so I'm getting okay. All right. So what we're going to be able to do is if you go to the link up top, you should see a Facebook group up there where you guys can see us on live. Is a Facebook group posted at the top?
Yeah, I got it up there. On Facebook Live? No, not on Facebook.
No, just put the Facebook Winning Real Estate Facebook group at the top.
Yeah, I got it at the top of Clubhouse.
All right, outstanding, guys. So if you want to see us real time, you can click that link and you'll be able to see us. And then what I'm holding up right now, can y'all read that, what it says? What does it say? Can y'all see what that says on Facebook? It says estate planning documents, okay? I'm going to go through this, guys, so you can see that I'm actually doing this, okay? We are actually physically doing this stuff. So the stuff that we're teaching you guys today is things that we've learned from setting up your estate with your kids. And if you stay here long enough, I'm going to show you guys how to build a multi-million-dollar business for your children, okay? So operating agreement basically gives all of the information that you guys are going to need in order to establish what the business does. Now, here's what's going to be in the operating agreement. All right. Number 1, your job description. Number 2, when they do the business. Number 3, how they do the business. Number 4, documenting the times. Number 5 is how they will be compensated and who has ownership within the company. That is what the basic meat and potatoes of what an operating agreement would entail. It's a very simple document. It takes you a minute to draft it, but the reason why you want to do this is because you want to know what your kids are doing, how they're going to do it, when they're going to be compensated, because this is what's going to be needed for a minutes document. The next thing that I want all of you guys to put is minutes document. Okay. Minutes, like seconds, minutes. So everybody in the chat, I want you guys to put minutes in the chat. Now, the reason why we're building all of this stuff up is because now you're going to know what you're going to need within your business. So now what I'm going to ask is, what is a minutes document? Can anybody tell me what a minutes document is? Bruno, are you there?
Yeah, so that's ultimately going to be the thing that once you guys get together and have a meeting regarding whatever it is that you guys are going to be discussing, it's what allows you to actually document that. And there's a template and a structure in what you want to do it in, and it's ultimately going to be what's going to save your behinds later on should you get audited for some, whether it's you getting audited or it's you being questioned about the legitimacy behind some of the things that you're doing. That's what's going to help establish that.
All right, man. Hey, there's that sound. That is correct. Okay. Are there any questions about the couple of things, the first two things that we talked about? Okay, unable to see Facebook. Okay, guys, can y'all check the Facebook link to make sure that I'm good to go with us being live? Okay, so just want to make sure. Okay, we are currently in the Winning Real Estate. I can see my face. I can see 4 people on there, and I see us live on a SITREP podcast. I see us, and then also we're actually live on Twitter Spaces. So you guys should be able to see all of that stuff. Now, the minutes document basically gives you guys the example of what it's going to be a document that you're going to need for the IRS to make sure you stay out of trouble. Okay. So as you guys are, when you start to, that's going to be a log that you're going to have in order to make sure that the IRS knows that you did what you did. So the minutes document, what we're going to do is we're going to post that in the Facebook group. Bruno is going to post it in the Facebook group so you guys have an example that you're going to download. And if you click at the top of my head, you should be able to see our Facebook group, our Winning Real Estate Facebook group. Click that link above my head, click in there, and then you'll be able to join the Facebook group where you can download an example of the minutes document. Okay. Are there any questions regarding the operating agreement and the minutes document? Any questions? Anybody have any questions on stage? Okay. Now in the chat, Ian has put both of them. Okay. So operating agreement is a legal document that outlines the internal structure, management, and operating the business of a limited liability company. It serves as a contract between the LLC members and establishing the rights and responsibilities and obligations of the company. The reason why this is important is because here's the reason why you want to have these documents together. And I'm breaking everything down micro style so you guys can understand how this works. Okay. So the operating agreement, once you establish that operating agreement, you want that operating agreement to relinquish your ownership as an adult to your child at the tender age of 18. Okay. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because let's just say Ian was my son. Okay. Ian he creates a company, and his company is going to be Beard Balm LLC, right? He has Beard Balm he's going to create. All right. Start growing the beard at a young age, right? And then now he goes viral on Instagram, and he starts making a gazillion dollars, right? And then let's just say something was to happen to you. Bang. Me as an adult, I get hit by a car, and I am the general partner. My kid is a limited partner in that limited liability company. Now that company is at risk. Okay. Now uncle is managing that company because the child is a minor, or the mama's managing that, or father is managing that money, and then they're taking all of the money. The perfect example is Britney Spears. Okay. As you can see, Britney Spears is having a little issues in her life right now. And I'm not trying to talk to her about anybody, but as you can see, her, they have control over her because she doesn't have the mental capacity to maintain her estate, right? So when you are establishing the operating agreement, you can put in that operating agreement, me as my child if he's responsible, he's going to take ownership of that company, and I will not have access to the money. Okay. That is why the operating agreement is important. Does anybody have any questions or any value to add to the operating agreement? And moderators, make sure you keep an eyeball on the hands and stuff like that to make sure that we bring everybody to the stage. Anybody have any questions before we continue to rock and roll? Any questions? Any value to add to the conversation?
I just want to chime in and let everybody know that this is the groundwork that we have to put in place in order to kind of utilize these different aspects that Tony's talking about. So what's happening here is he's going to lay out this whole, this environment that you're going to create for your heirs and your kids and stuff like that. So that way they can start receiving income from the assets that you create and you put into this battle space, right? So what happens here is like you have to follow these circumstances. You have to put these different situations in place for this money to flow legally. So that way, as you progress, as you add assets to the whole, what's the word I want? Your estate. That way, this always has a good flow. So that way, you have this set up. So this, basically, income infrastructure is in place, so that way your kids will always have the access to this money in the future. Because if you don't, then it's liable to get taxed, and then also Uncle Sam's going to be getting in the way of between the money that you set aside and your kids. So, like, pay attention to what he's saying, because this is the situation that you have to follow in order for this whole system to work. Back to you, Tony.
Outstanding, and thank you for adding that. And then I see a couple of people that just joined the stage. Brittany, thank you for coming. Brooklyn, Anthony Renew, thank you for coming. Anthony, you want to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are and what you do, and then we're going to go to Ashley and Catherine to do a quick introduction. Anthony, are you there? All right, McGinna, are you there? Can you introduce yourself, tell the people who you are and what you do?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Anthony. Love your spaces. My name is Migena. I live in New York City. I am a real estate investor, both passively and actively. Always a student in Anthony's spaces and here to be of value when needed. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing your audience, and I really appreciate the support. And hang out with us because I got to talk to you about 10X Bets. Let's go. All right. Dr. Ashley, are you there?
Hey y'all, I'm here. Good
Wake
to be here
up,
with
Dr. Ashley. Wake
you.
your ass up.
There
Wow,
you go
Anthony
with the
speaker.
chimes.
Wake up, wake
Hey
up.
y'all, how are y'all? Y'all
Where you
doing
been?
good?
Where you been hiding at?
Y'all missed me?
Oh my God. Can you just answer the question, Dr. Ashley?
I've been traveling. I was in Chicago up until the wee hours of this morning, and now I'm back in South Carolina until it's time for the next trip. But here to support, listen, and learn. You're talking about operating agreements, and I'm very interested in this information and just overall the topic. I think it's imperative for us to learn about college versus being a business owner and the appropriate way to leverage a college education if that's the track that you decide to go on, and how it can also contribute to your overall goals as a business owner. So I absolutely love when you have this conversation, and I look forward to tapping in. Thank you.
Outstanding, and thank you. And congratulations on your event that you just had with the AKAs. Can you tell us where you just came from? And also, can we give a heart emoji in the chat for Dr. Ashley? She is now a professional speaker for Saab. If you guys know what company that is. And she also is a professional speaker for minivans now. Dr. Ashley, you want to tell people about the minivan with rims that you got that you was riding around, bumping too short, and how you got that contract to sponsor minivans?
Wait, what? Sob? What are you talking about? Listen, I am a speaker for BMW
Oh, BMW.
next
My
month,
bad. My bad. My bad. I thought it was.
and
I thought it
that's
was
the
Saturn. My bad.
whatever. That's the annual diversity conference. It's a diversity supplier conference that they have, that BMW hosts annually. They have about 3,000 plus people in attendance who are minority business owners, women business owners, and veteran business owners. For any of you who fall into those categories and would like to tap in, I'll put the link in the chat and you're welcome to join us there. It's in Greenville, South Carolina, August the 30th. And I just left Chicago from speaking at the International Leadership Seminar for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And that was a dynamic session that I had the opportunity to lead while there. And I'll be speaking for another diversity conference in Laguna Beach, California in September. So, for those of you who are in any of those areas and would like to tap in, you're welcome to do that. If you need a speaker for your upcoming event, you're welcome to tap into me that way as well. Or if you need support with developing your public speaking skills, you can tap into me for that too.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. Let me reset the room. You guys are in here talking about college versus a business owner, battle to generational wealth. And if you're here, we're going to be talking about how to set up a business. We're going to tell you the states that you can set up a minor LLC. We're going to tell you the difference between a limited partner, a general partner. I am on Facebook Live, so if you guys want to see my face, you will see this document in my hand that says estate planning. I'm going to read a couple of things out of this one book. This right here is my revocable trust that I have. I have a revocable and an irrevocable trust, but I'm going to read some of this stuff out of the language and read some of the things that are in this book so you guys could see how it's set up. This is a copy of my trust. And if you guys want to learn how to set this stuff up and make sure your children are protected. Now, this room specifically is not against college, guys. This is not a bang on college room. However, we're only going to go over statistical facts. Here are the statistics, guys, for those of you who have just joined. The average American populations, we're going to do a little bit of math. Okay. Matter of fact, Sierra, are you there? I want you to post the compound interest calculator in the chat, and we're going to do a quick exercise, and then I'm going to show you guys the fundamental difference between setting up this company as a minor at a very young age, okay, versus establishing a business when your kid's a minor, and how much debt and money that you guys will have in the future. This is very, very, very important. The reason why we're doing this stuff, okay, is we are going to go through this and break everything down for you guys. And now it's going to be up to you. If you love your children, okay, and you want your kids to be financially stable, you have to put these provisions in place in order to not just go to college, but also have some money that you saved up since your kid was small in order for you guys to go to avoid student loan debt. And here are the statistical facts, okay? Number one, okay, the average student loan debt is $36,000. Okay. Now let's do this exercise so I can give you an idea or a snapshot into how I think. Okay. Sierra, can you help me with this? And Sierra post a link in the chat, and I want you guys to follow along. And then I want to go over to my sister Catherine and Cynthia that are on stage, and I want to give a quick introduction. But before we do this exercise, does anybody have any questions? I think Natalie, you had a question. What question do you have, Natalie?
Hello, Anthony. Good day, everyone. Or
Hey.
afternoon, or evening, or morning, wherever you are. My question is very simple. When you are setting up an LLC for a child, right? My question comes in from the standpoint of, what if a person has already been convicted of, let's say, a fraudulent dealing before, right? And now, no shade on anyone, not specifically trying to point fingers here. I'm just saying this as an actual scenario that I thought of in my head as you were explaining this. Setting up a company on behalf of your child where you're basically the operating manager temporarily until they come of age and resume their managerial roles. Now, with this being said, it comes to my head, what if the person in charge is not a responsible individual? Would the state intervene and stop that person from opening an LLC and using this child as a means to basically use their, well, sorry to put it this way, credit score, because their own credit score is
Okay,
quite
pause right
horrible.
there. Pause right there. Okay, setting up a LLC doesn't have anything to do with credit. Okay, so when you establishing a business, I understand where you're going with this. Now, is this a real scenario, or is this just you have to help me give a little bit of context before we.
No. This is
Okay.
not a real scenario.
Okay.
It's just a question out of a thought. But
Okay.
another thing that I
Well, one
also
second.
wanted
I
to
gotta
add
answer.
is,
I have ADD, so I gotta answer one question at a time, and then I'm gonna go to the next question. Okay. Now,
sure.
the first question was, what if? What ifs will keep you broke, guys? I'm telling you right now. Listen. I'm looking in the camera, and if you guys are unfamiliar with this space, I'm going to keep it 100% real with you guys. If what if was $1, you're never gonna. You can't take advice from someone that has never done something that you're trying to do. This room here is specifically focusing on the steps and the strategic steps in order to get to financial literacy through setting up these components. Now, this is a really good question, and I'm going to answer it. So if you have a responsible person that's establishing a limited liability company, this information is so in depth that it's going to be super difficult for people. People will not set this thing up unless they want to follow some instructions on establishing wealth for their children. A person that doesn't have any intellectual capital and they're trying to do it in malice is not going to set up something like this. This is like financial literacy, like on steroids. This is not something where a fraudulent person is going to establish a limited liability company for a child to take advantage of the child. The whole purpose of setting this up is to establish business credit for your children, and also be able, if you have a business, for you to be able to pay your kid tax-free. Those are the main two reasons why you want to do that. And we're going to give some examples of that. Now, that's the first question. Did I answer your question in regard to the fraudulent thing?
Yes, Anthony, very clear.
Okay. And then the other,
sorry, go ahead.
And then the other part to that, okay, would be for the only way that the kids' credit would be messed up is that, and there's being on a line of credit, right? And being an authorized user. Now, the whole reason why you're setting up this limited liability company for your child is so your kid gets the 3 C's. Everybody put 3 C's in the chat right now. Put 3 C's in the chat. Now, here's a little bit of real estate trivia. Let me see. If you guys have been in my room, what do those 3 C's stand for? Let's see if you guys have been paying attention. For those who come to my room, put 3 C's in the chat. 3 C's. Everybody put 3 C's. We got 49. As you see, 49 people here participating. Okay. 3 C's. What are the 3 C's? Can y'all guess what they are? Anybody remember?
Cash, cash, cash. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Man, McGinnis trying to get to the money. Hey. Okay. All right. What are the 3 C's? Okay. 3 C's.
I got it if nobody else does.
Credit is one of them. Bruno got one of them. What's the other one?
Collateral.
Collateral. What's the other one? Capital. Okay. Those are the 3 C's that banks like to, that you guys are going to need. And if you guys are on Facebook and you have a question and you're watching me live, okay, I can see you guys. So shout out to the people who are on Facebook. And Jason, if you have a question, you can raise your hand and you can come up. Shout out to Jason over here on Twitter Spaces. Thank you, Jason. I just invited you to speak if you're on Twitter and you want to ask a question. Now, do me a favor, Cynthia, Bevan, can y'all click on that Twitter link to make sure if you have a question? I want to make sure that I want to see if you guys could hear me on Twitter Spaces, just to do a quick mic check. All right. So now, so Sierra, I see that you got credit, collateral, and capital. Those are the 3 C's. Those are the things that people that's what banks look at you for, lending money to you. Okay. Now, if I establish an LLC, what out of those 3 C's, the popcorn style as fast as you can, out of those 3 C's, okay, if I have a LLC, is that credit, collateral, or capital?
Collateral and credit.
Collateral and credit. Bingo. Okay. If I have, now, if I start a business and I'm making money, is that credit, collateral, or capital?
Capital.
Capital, right? Okay.
Always capital.
Right. And then, now I got the credit. Now the credit part is going to be this. If I have a history of a account, my daughter has a business. I started when she was 3. Okay. My daughter just turned 10. Shout out to Carson. She was turned up. If you click on my Instagram, you can see everybody turning up at our little party. Now, what can I establish? What do you think the bank wants to give my daughter if she has a business that's making money?
Credit.
Credit. How can I get?
It's going to be credit.
How can I get credit? How am I able to get credit if I am? Why would they want to give me credit? Because I've established my what?
So you can expand and establish your network dealings, establish your supply lines.
Bingo.
further the business.
Bingo. And then why would banks want to give me? Why would banks want to give me money? Now let's think about this. Why would they want to give me money?
Projected future profit margins.
And what else? Somebody else jump in. Why do banks want to give me? Why would a bank want to give me or lend me money?
They can make money off the interest.
Bingo, 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 bingo. Interest. They want to lend me money or extend money to me because they can get interest, right? So as you guys are building, the reason why you want to start this business is because they want to, you have an established business. It's very easy. We're going to walk you guys through what you need to do after you establish your limited liability company, but we're going to break everything down. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are ready to rock and roll, because we're about to get into the meat and potatoes of how to do this thing. I want to put a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are enjoying this conversation, and we're breaking it down to where your kids can avoid student loan debt, okay? All right, I see some fire emojis in the chat. Brittany, Miss J, Miss Hodge, my brother Bruno Nascimento. And I see, if you guys want to see us, you will see me, Sierra, and Ian, where actually you guys get to see our face on live. Click that link above our head, and this is what you guys are going to get. You're going to get the business plan, and you're going to get a minute document. The minute document for free, guys. All we're going to ask you guys to do is get on stage and help us grow the space. All right, so now, what's your next question? What's your next question?
All right. The next question would be, wouldn't you say that a contrast of both business understanding and actual, like, actual experience within the framework of running a business, okay, as a business owner, along with a college degree would work so much better than having just a college degree or having just a business? Because if you have both, you are better set off. But if you have one or the other, you're either an employer or an employee. But if you're an employer without a degree, you might be smart when it comes to the actual everyday need know-how, but not necessarily adequate enough. Does that make sense, Anthony?
Absolutely not. I have no idea what your question is. Okay, so I want to make sure. Are you saying that would it be better for the person to have this and that versus this or that? Is that the question, or you have an opinion?
No, my question is because you said, like, the title, right? It says college versus business owner, right?
Battle to
So
generational wealth.
that,
Yes.
yes. So, like, why does it have to be this versus that and not work together?
We're gonna get to
I
that.
can I can
We're-
I add can I extend upon her question? Because
yes.
I have a similar. Okay. Well, my name is Clarissa, Dr. Clarissa J, and
Hey,
I am
Clarissa.
an educator academic. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Dr. Ashley, and everybody. Um, I'm an academic who's becoming a real estate investor, and I have a similar question just because of the title. It's college versus business owner, and it was just in the title. It's not in the content because it's very different the way you're laying it out. But I have so many mentees who are interested in being influencers and business owners, and
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought they shouldn't have to be majoring in business or pursuing an MBA just to have this wisdom. And it really, I think it's kind of criminal the way colleges herd them to the financial aid office, and that's the only information that they get,
Oh
regardless of their
man,
discipline.
my sister. I am so glad that you said that. Okay. Listen, I listen. This is what we're talking about. Now, remember,
Right.
we're not talking about. You heard her say how they heard them to financial aid. Let me give you some alarming statistics. I want you guys to get. I'm gonna prove to you guys a point. Let me prove your point, doctor. And this is going to tie everything up, and then we're going to reset the room. Okay. All right. I need 8 more people to raise their hand right now and get on stage to help us grow this space. Okay. I'm going to prove a point to why this is important and why this conversation. I see 7 people raise their hand. I need 8 more people to raise their hand right now. If you're in the listening lounge, hit the clipboard down at the bottom. Okay, I need 7 more people to raise their hand and get on stage. Okay. If you want us to continue this, I need you guys to help us grow the space. Okay. Okay. I need 6 more people to raise their hand. Moderators, please bring them on stage because I think you guys need to be involved in this conversation. All right. Okay. And raise your hand. Come on up. 4 more people to raise their hand. Don't be afraid. You don't have to speak, but if you have an opportunity or you have a question, because there's going to be so much information that you guys are going to have to, you need to be on stage to ask a question. Okay. But if you don't want to speak, what helps us curate the space and grow the space, okay, is that you have to raise your hand and get on stage. 3 more people. We're almost there. Okay. 3 more people. 1 more person. Okay. Bring everybody up, moderators, please. Okay. All right. Bring everybody up on stage. Now, let me prove a point. Sierra, can you put that in the doctor? Can you follow some instructions with me? Sierra's gonna put a link in the chat. Okay. Put the compound interest link in the chat, and you're gonna run through this with me. And I'm gonna show you guys something that's gonna be super alarming to you guys. Okay. So now, Sierra, did you put the link in the chat? Compound interest calculator. Can y'all put that link in the chat, please? Okay, don't put it in the.
There again, it's scroll up. It's there, and I'll in the meantime I'll put it up there so it's fresh.
Yeah, put it down at the bottom so it's fresh. Okay, and then put like a star by it. Okay, take a good shot. I want you guys to guess. Now I want everybody to just come off mic and just guess one at a time. How much money do you think a $36,000 student loan debt will be, and how long do you think it usually takes people to pay that debt off? Take a shot at it. How many years do you think?
20 years.
That is correct. That is the right answer. 20 years, okay? Typically, it takes 20 years for a student to pay off student loan debt. Now, doctor, can you click that link that Sierra or Ian posted in the chat? And I want you to read off. You're going to do this real time with me. Stay off mute, and I'm going to prove a point to you guys, okay? Let me know when you're ready, doctor.
Okay, you want me to read?
Yes, I want you to read. I want you to fill out the information as I'm saying it, okay?
Okay, will do.
Okay.
I'm ready.
What does the first link say?
Initial investment.
Your initial loan is going to be $36,000. So put that in there. Okay. And guys, follow along with me. So you guys, this is a tool that is imperative for you to kind of get an idea of how much money that you guys are going to. Now, what's the next one?
Step 2, contribute, monthly contribution.
0, because majority of the people who have student loans are in deferment.
Okay. Length of time in years.
20 years.
Step 3, interest rate, estimated interest rate.
The estimated interest rate for student loan debts is anywhere from 8 to 12%. So we're going to use 8 for the interest rate that you guys are paying that's compounding month after month in deferment. Next step.
Interest rate variance range.
We're going to keep it the same at 8%. Okay, we're not even going to fluctuate. We're going to keep it at 8.
Step 4, compound it annually.
How much money will you pay into that student loan debt over a 20-year period if you kept it in deferment and you didn't make any payments?
In 20 years, you will have $167,794.46.
Now remember, when you're looking at this thing, the longer that you guys are in student, and I understand that Biden has got this student loan debt forgiveness program and all of that stuff, but when you look at how everything is going, think about it. Your kids go to school at what year? They go to college at what year typically? At how old?
18.
18 years old, and then they work for they go through college for 4 years, right? Now, they get that student loan, and typically, if they don't have any scholarships or Pell or FAFSA or anything else, they graduate from school. So 18 plus 4 is what?
22. Are all these questions for me?
No, they're for anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So now from there, they're 22 years old. They get in the workforce and they starting with debt. Now let's add on living expenses. Let's add on your car note. Let's add on. Typically, the average American population is usually right around $3,000 to $3,500 of living expenses a month, right? So if you're looking at the mathematics behind this thing, okay, $3,000 times 12 is $36,000, right? Now you have $36,000 of debt, right? So you need to make close to $100,000 starting from college just to make ends meet. If you don't understand how to reverse engineer this stuff and looking at it, right? I'm going to give you guys another scenario. Who else wants to be a volunteer? And then we're going to get back to the subject of the room. We're not telling you that college is bad, but what we are telling you is that you have an opportunity to avoid having to pay student loan debt. Okay? All right? This is math. This is adding and subtracting. I gave you the tool to look at it. Okay? And if you have student loan debt, let's do this another exercise. Thank you for volunteering. Who else wants to volunteer? Let me give you a different example of how to avoid that. Anybody want to volunteer that's on stage? Anybody want to jump in?
I'll volunteer, Anthony. Hi. Thank you for doing this again. This is Marin.
Hey, Marin, I can always count on you, sister. All right. So now let's do it a different way. Okay. And then we're going to get back into the teaching so I can give you guys an understanding, okay? So now we're going to do this small business that your kid owns. Let me give you a quick example. I go down to which states. Now, this is popcorn style. Anyone can answer these questions. Now, what are the 4 states that who can tell me 2 of the 4 states on stage? This is a little bit of real estate trivia. All right. Who can tell me the 4 states? Give me 2 out of the 4 states that you can open a limited liability company or start a small business for a kid.
Wyoming and Ohio.
Wyoming and Ohio. Perfect. Okay. And that's up in the chat. Okay. You establish the business. You set the business up. Now, once you establish the business, okay, your business is, okay, you set up a small business and your kid is going to be a social media influencer. Okay. And then you're basically going to pay your kid to, let's just say they're talking about, I don't know, they go viral. What kids like to do is they want to talk about Roblox. That's the hottest new thing, right? You set up that company, Roblox, they're getting $150 a month. Okay, that's how much money that they're making. Now, for those of you who have a business, hint, 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 if you have a business or if you own real estate or anything, hire your kids. All right. Now, why do I want to hire my kids? Who can tell me why I want to hire my kids within my business? This is going to tie everything nice together. Right now, I'm dumping the puzzle out. Who can jump in?
It's a write-off.
How much money can you write off a year?
$12,950.
Who's that?
Eugene.
What up, Eugene? Eugene is in the building. He's right. It is a write-off. So put that in the chat. $12,950 you can pay your children tax-free. I'm going to say that again. Now, a lot of people are overthinking it. Oh my God, I got to establish a business. What are my kids going to do? No. Right now, okay, Bruno, we can see your face, brother. So Bruno has my little nephew. His name is Gabe, right? That's my little homie, right?
Yeah, man, he's over here putting on YouTube, and I'm telling him, get off the damn YouTube.
Can we see Gabe? Can we see Gabe? Can we say hi to Gabe? Is it possible? Okay. I want you guys to see Gabe. So if you click the link and then Sierra, I got you. We can see you, Sierra. Hey, Sierra. Hey, girl. Sierra want to make sure she can introduce herself. Sierra, can you let the people know who you are and what you do?
I already introduced myself, but
okay, all right.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Sierra Taylor, and
I am a real estate professional. I'm a real estate professional. I'm a veteran. I am also.
No, we can't hear you, Sarah. So
I'm a board member to multiple
talk through
nonprofits.
to the clubhouse, really? And then the video I would just mute that altogether. So talk to the club, talk through to the clubhouse, and then mute the camera and stuff.
Yeah, if you talk to Clubhouse, we'll be able to hear you.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can hear her.
That makes sense. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
So, hello, everyone. My name is Sierra Taylor. It's an echo for me. I'm a real estate professional. I work alongside these nice, handsome gentlemen. I am also a veteran. I can't listen to myself right now.
We can hear
I'm
you.
sorry,
Okay.
y'all.
Let me get
But
back
I
to
am a veteran. I'm a board member to a nonprofit, well, multiple nonprofits, and I'm also an accountant. That's me.
outstanding. And I see Larry, Jason, and Ian. Okay, Ian, I just invited you as a co-host on Twitter, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we are simulcasting. I am live on the YouTube channel, and then we're going to switch that link over here to the YouTube channel here at the top, probably in about 10 minutes, so you guys can subscribe to this and get this information. We did a couple of classes. We did a Trust Explain on the YouTube channel. We'll post that link at the top so you guys can get on there and understand how trusts are operate. And we also went through sole proprietorship, S Corp, C Corp, LLC, and we the battle of the corporate structure. So if you guys want that information, we're going to post that at the top so you guys can subscribe to that, listen to it, and take your notes. But let's get back to this. Okay, so Bruno decides that he wants to start a business. Boom, he starts the business. Okay, he wants to hire Gabe. Gabe is a very handsome kid, man. He is a good looking kid, right? He always calls me Uncle Tony. If he comes on, I bet you $1, he'll say, Uncle Tony. That's the homie, right? So Gabe is a good looking kid. So what Bruno does is Bruno decides to say, I'm going to hire Gabe as my brand ambassador to my company, and I'm going to establish an LLC. Okay. Once I establish an LLC, okay, and I got you, Anthony. Shout out to Anthony Progress that's on the stage. Man, Anthony, good to see you, brother. That's my brother. Thank you for coming in here, always support. Make sure you give him a follow. And guys, make sure you follow all of the moderators that are here as well. Now, Bruno establishes an LLC for his child. Gabe he's a young kid. I think he's 4 years old, if I'm not mistaken, right? Gabe's 4 years old.
Yep.
Okay. Now Gabe decides.
4 years old.
There's my homie. Where's he at? Hey.
4 years old.
You 4? Hey, Gabe. What's up, buddy? Can you see me? Can you see Uncle Tony?
Yeah, I see you.
I see you too, man. I love you, buddy.
I love you.
Put a heart emoji in the chat for Gabe, man. Gabe, the future entrepreneur, man. Look at him. He's a good looking kid. Hey, buddy.
Uncle Tony.
Yes.
Are you home or not?
I'm not home right now. I'm in the office right now. We're working. We're working right now. Can you guys see us on Clubhouse? Can y'all hear us on Clubhouse still?
Yes.
Okay, if you're on Clubhouse, can you see us and hear us on Clubhouse? I want to make sure.
Yes.
Gabe's like, yes.
Okay.
So, Tony, we can hear you on Clubhouse.
Okay, magnificent. Somebody keep saying.
Definitely can hear you on Clubhouse.
Okay.
I can't see it on a video.
Okay, that's good. What Gabe? We love you, buddy. Okay, so we're gonna keep rolling. Okay, so now they decide to bye, buddy. See you later. Gabe gets hired, guys. Okay, and then what happens is once Gabe gets hired, okay, he creates his limited liability company. He creates the operating agreement, and then he pays his kid $150 for doing social media marketing. Okay, all right. So now what happens? From that, now Gabe gets paid. He's 4 years old. So let's say he set that up at 3. Okay. Now let's go through this. Who wants to be my volunteer right now on Clubhouse? Can I get a volunteer?
Let's roll.
Okay. All right. Who's that?
That's me, Bruno.
Okay. Bruno is going to volunteer for me. What Bruno's going to do is Bruno's going to use the compound interest calculator. Okay. All right, click the compound interest calculator in the chat. And everybody, I want you guys to go through this scenario with me. And then we're going to get back to a couple of things because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Okay. Oh, did Clubhouse crash? Okay.
Clubhouse has been acting weird, man. So I've been trying to get it going too, but I'll do my best for you if you need anything.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot
It's
of
still
errors
working
going
for
on.
me. I'm still here.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just not doing
We're just
the
gonna
regular functions.
Okay, we're gonna continue to rock and roll, guys. If you guys could hear me, hopefully you guys are here. We're not gonna we're not going to
We hear you. We hear you, Anthony, in Clubhouse.
okay, everybody on Clubhouse can hear me. Okay. All right, so here's what happens next, okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys could hear me on Clubhouse. I want to make sure that you guys could hear me because right now I see the room going smaller and smaller. That means probably the app did crash, okay? I'm looking on here and I don't see, but we're still on Facebook Live, so let's just continue to rock and roll. Put a 1 in the chat right now if you guys could hear me on Clubhouse. Put a 1 in the
We
chat.
can hear you, but it won't let us like put any. I can't put anything in the chat. It won't even let me do it.
Yeah, that's
It
the
But I can
says
app.
hear you.
the server is struggling. It says.
Okay, that's the app. We'll
Yeah,
continue.
it's like the app is yeah, it's crashing.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
just keep rolling, man. I
Let's
think
keep
it's because
rolling.
everybody has iPhones and stuff, and it's
Oh
crashing.
my
And
God,
the
this
Android
guy,
world, I mean,
man.
we're solid. I hear you. I hear you perfectly. I don't know what anyone's talking about, but yeah. Let's keep it moving, man. I got the compound interest calculator up right now.
Okay, all right. So let's start this with $150. Okay, we're gonna start this with 150. So you're gonna read out the chat, and for those of you who are listening, we're just gonna keep rocking and rolling and make sure that we can get the information out there. So number 1 is gonna be what's the first part, Bruno?
So the first one is the initial investment. So I put down what you said, 150,000.
Okay, no, 150, $150.
Okay, got it. 150.
Okay, the next field is gonna be what's the next field?
So the next one is going to be monthly contribution. Yeah, so monthly contribution.
150.
Okay. Then we go into length of time in years.
Gabe is, let's just say you started at 3 and you're gonna do it for 15 years. So put 15.
Okay, 15. Then step 3 goes into the interest rate. So what is the estimated interest rate?
The regular S&P 500, Dow, and the NASDAQ is going to be anywhere from 8 to 18%. So we're going to use the number 8%, just like the regular one, 8%.
Okay, we got 8. And then we go into interest rate variance range. So you said 8 to how much again?
Now the interest rate variance rate is going to be 8, the same concept.
Okay.
And then what's the next field?
So then we got compound frequency annually.
How much will Gabe have at the tender age of 18?
All right, so when we calculate, let's see. Okay, in 15 years, you will have $49,349.63.
So guys, if you want to start your kid off with $36,000 of student loan debt, or do you want to have $50,000 for your kids to go to school by what we're talking about? This is just a business generating $150 a month, and you guys investing it into tools that's going to give you 8% of return. If you guys want the tools, okay, that you can figure out to get you to that 8%, put a 1 in the chat right now, okay? I think we're back, okay, because I see some ones in the chat, 1008, 1009. And 1011. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are ready to go. And we're going to tell you guys the actual accounts that will get you the 8 to 10%. But let me do a quick room reset. Guys, you guys are in the Win in Real Estate House on YouTube, and you guys are on Clubhouse rocking and rolling on the 1s and 2s, where we're talking about how to win in real estate and build generational wealth to avoid student loan debt. We're giving you guys the examples of how to establish a company, okay, with a limited liability company for your children. And if you guys have a company, we're showing you guys that you guys could funnel $12,950 through your kids' business and avoid student loan debt. I want to give a special shout out to everybody that's on stage. And guess what, man? I'm going to tell you the reason why the app is messing around, because they don't want you to get, man, listen. Do you know how many billions of dollars that it will take to get into that compound interest that the government gets from you utilizing, and private institutions get from you getting student loan debt? It's crazy. The federal student loan debt, federal. What is federal? Government. Okay. So as you guys are tracking through this space, and for those of you who are on YouTube, and those of you who are on Clubhouse, it does not matter. We're going to get this information out regardless of what the app is doing. So stick in there with me. Appreciate you guys being here today. And then we're going to keep going. Does anybody have any questions about the compound interest calculator and what we're talking about today? Anybody have anything, any questions or any value to add? Bruno, Cynthia, McGinna, Catherine, Natalie, Eugene, Ash, Ian, anybody have any questions?
Man, I think that for me, whenever you start putting some of these things in and we start looking at the numbers is what really helps kind of things stand out, man. Where, you're talking about $150, right? So if it's a business that's generating $150, and that's a business, and I want people that are listening in to understand how incredibly conservative we are being, right? So, I mean, like you can save $150 just by canceling your Hulu account that you never use, and canceling some other streaming services for your Apple TV that you never use, right? But now when we're talking about a business, it can generate significantly more. So understand that the numbers that Tony is giving you with 150 is incredibly conservative, but it's done so on purpose, right? Because a lot of times people may feel intimidated and may be hesitant to get started whenever you have a millionaire that's telling you about the thousands of dollars that can be put into something. But then when you scale it down to kind of look at it, where if $150 will yield $50,000, okay, then imagine what hundreds of dollars, or a thousand and some change can yield over that time span.
That's a really good point, Bruno, and thank you for adding that. Now,
So, Anthony,
yes, go ahead, jump in.
I actually came on. Yeah, I have to leave because I'm at the college now and I have to run and do something. But I did want to thank you. That was why I unmiked myself before. I muted myself because um when I think this content is so important, and it's unfortunate that it's just. I hope that you figure out how to disseminate it widely and get it into the hands of, like I said before, in high schools, because that's where college prep really happens. Because I've worked in admissions and now I run a writing center on a college campus, and we talk about retention. We meet about retention all the time, and most people have the impression that students drop out of college because they have difficulty with the content, or they're not smart enough, is what they think, or they just disappear. And often, my observation, I don't have data right now, but my observation over decades has been it comes down to time management and money management more than it does. They don't understand the content of the courses. So, what you're doing is really, I mean, for people who are, well, I'm a proponent of my kid going to college. I mean, I'm just on that college side because that's my career. But it's also important for retention for that dream as well. So I just thank you and your team for doing this, and I just hope that it doesn't it can be disseminated farther.
Well, we really appreciate that. And, we're going to continue to do these rooms. Typically, we have a huge room, but Clubhouse is acting all goofy, but it's okay. We're still going to kick it like a sensei, baby. Let's go. All right. So let's get back to and thank you for pulling up. And then you can listen to the replays. And guys, click the link above my head. This is going to live forever, okay? Because the reason why we started to do this on YouTube is so people can go back and reference this information, okay? So let me go back to Jason. Jason on Twitter, you have a question?
Oh, hi, Tony. This is Jason from the Bay. Just a comment on the extreme value that you're sharing here today. In many different angles, you're winning, not only for your business because you're getting a tax saving, but you're also getting absolute value from the work that your kid actually does for you, providing marketing. And that kid gets work experience, and he also or she also avoids future debt. So this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Jason. And you hit everything on the head. That's exactly what we're here to do. Why wait until your kid turns 18 to get into the workforce and understand how companies work? And then why not establish a company at a young age, so where when they become 18 years old, they don't have to work at Starbucks killing themselves trying to go to school, right? It's not this or that, it's this and that. So guys, if you're in the listening lounge on Clubhouse, please raise your hand, come up. Thank you for joining us on Twitter. Jason, you just confirmed that we can hear you. I heard you, Lima Charlie, that's loud and clear for those of you who have served in the armed forces. And for those of you who have just joined this room, hit the hand raising button down the clipboard. That's how you're going to get on stage. And then don't worry about this information because it's going to be live. It's going to live here on Facebook and YouTube as we continue to grow. Now, this is what's next, guys. We're going to be talking about a foreign qualification. This is something that you guys need. So everybody that's here, put foreign qualification in the chat right now. Foreign qualification or certificate of authority. It's the same thing. Foreign qualification or certificate of authority. Okay, who's going to give that definition?
I can jump in on it. Okay, so the certificate of, can you all hear me? I'm getting all
Yes,
that crazy.
we can hear you.
All right, so foreign qualification. So what that is say you have a business in California, but you're also trying to open up another shop in Ohio, something like that. So what happens is you have to go through the state, the state legislature, or not the legislature, but the state governing body that dedicates all the different businesses, the Secretary of State. And you need to make sure that they authorize you to do business in their state, so that way they could recognize you for taxes and other sort of billing purposes. So what happens is that's a way that you can have a business, like basically a franchise, in 2 different states, and then do it legally, so that way you don't have any problems when it comes to tax time.
Outstanding. That's called a foreign qualification. Now, this is very simple. The reason why we're breaking it down is so you know the terminology of it. But basically what a foreign qualification allows you to do, let's just say you live in Texas, right? Texas is not a state that allows you to establish a child business, right? So you set up the business in one of the states that we said, California, Delaware, Ohio, or Wyoming. You tell whoever set up your LLC that you're going to be operating in Texas. So they're going to give you a foreign qualification or a certificate of authority to operate that business legally in the state of Texas. Did y'all get that? Put a 1 in the chat if you understood that. Put a 2 in the chat if you didn't understand that. Okay. I see you guys on Twitter and down the chat feature down in Twitter Spaces. Please put that down at the bottom. You'll see a little chat feature. You guys can interact right there. Okay. And Ian, I sent you an invite on Twitter so you can post the link to the YouTube channel at the top. So for those of you who are just joining us, okay, essentially what we're talking about is how to establish a business for your children the correct way. So now let's go back. Let's recap real quick and go through the steps. Okay. Number 1, you create whatever business your kid's going to do. Okay. My children do marketing and they're brand ambassadors to my company. I call an attorney to set up the limited liability company. I live in California, but I set my company up, my limited liability company, in a different state to avoid taxes, California taxes. What that does is when I set up that business in a different state, or I have a business operating in a different state, that gives me the opportunity to do the nowhere tax code. Okay. Essentially what that means is that I own business in different areas. Man, you guys look good, man. All of these bearded people, man. What happened to Sierra? I can't see her. All right. All right. But what this has done for me is that it allows us to do or operate the business in the state that it's not in. So the foreign qualification or certificate of authority, the attorney is going to set that up. And what that attorney is going to do is it's going to allow you to operate that business in that state. Now, also, if you have a business, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. All right. If you have a business, you can hire your kids, set up the LLC, and expense $12,950 tax-free to your child. Now, if I showed you $150 will make you $60,000 in 15 years, can you imagine $1,071 okay, a month, how much money your kid will have at the age of 18 to go to school. So for those of you who are setting this thing up, okay, Marin, I see your question. Okay, I'm coming to you next. If you have this situation that's going through and you have this and you have an opportunity to do this, definitely set up the limited liability company and put them in your company. Now, what we're going to talk about next, what Bruno and Ian is going to talk about next, they're going to talk about this fundamental thing, the difference between a general partner and a limited partner. Who wants to jump in and talk about that, the fundamental difference between the two?
I'll get the general. I mean, and then if you want to talk about limited. So I mean, general is exactly what it sounds like, right? So when you're talking about overall authority, general allows you to do a lot more than what it is when it's limited because of the limitations. So general, it's grand, and in limited is what?
All right, everybody. So hey, can you hear me? I'm coming in on Twitter.
Yes, you're good. We can hear
All
you,
right,
bro.
cool. So this is Ian Jensen. I'm coming in from the Twitter space. All right. So the cool thing about limited partner is kind of what we talked about before, or I was going over earlier about a way of getting your children into the business, and that at the same time you control it. So as a general partner, like Bruno says, like it's like a general, like in the military, they're in charge, right? So that person controls all the aspects of the company, but a limited partner is somebody who is involved in the ownership, is on paper as a legal owner. So that way they're still getting credit, and they're still getting credit for the business function. So that way, on paper, they're still a controlled owner of that company, or not a controlling owner, but they are an owner of that company. They still have cash flow going to them from the profits of that company. They have a history of credit going to them through an aspect of that company, and then they have collateral versus which is all the other business functions. Like if that particular LLC or company is owning real estate, so you get all the things that Tony was talking about. You get collateral, you get capital, and you get credit, all building up for that child. And in the meantime, you're just controlling something that you already owned. Like if you bought a house and you rented it out, you're putting all the income through this business. That child is a limited partner. So therefore, you're giving all those different tax benefits to that child, all those credit benefits, all those collateral benefits. So that way, as this company matures, that child is getting a history of all those different collateral, capital, and credit. So therefore, by the time they hit 18, they're already much more established in the eyes of the bank, which is all that matters, right? You're trying to build up basically a profile so this child can have a much better picture to the bank whenever they go to be 18, so that way they could take out loans and start their own business.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Tony.
And that's good, guys. And then I got a couple of questions in the chat right now. I see that we have what banks give 8 to 10%. If you guys want to know that, put a 1 in the chat on Clubhouse, and Twitter Spaces down at the bottom. You'll see that little chat feature. And then here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. If you're on Twitter Spaces, down at the bottom, you'll see the little chat feature. I want you guys to retweet the space. Put WIN on Twitter. I see Jason, Kai, Bella, Terry, and Larry. Thank you guys for joining us on Twitter Spaces. And then also, for those of you who are in the Facebook group and you are listening to me above my head, if you're on Clubhouse is acting a little bit loopy, but this is the reason why we do stuff like this. If you got a question, okay, click the link above my head on Clubhouse and then join the Facebook group, and you guys can see us live, or you guys could get to us. Okay. All right. So now the first question that I have is from Marin. It says, where do I get many do not invest because of the risk associated to where to go to invest on the compound interest? Okay. Do you want to? That's the question at hand. Okay. Now, 100%. Let me see if I can get, give me $1. Give me $1 bill. You got $1? All right. Somebody give me some money right quick, man. Okay. If you guys are on if you guys are on Facebook. All right. So boom. If you see my face, I'm holding up a $20 bill and a $5 bill. What is this worth right now? You can put it in the chat. What do you guys think this is worth right now?
$5.
I got a $20 bill and a $5 bill in my hand. What is it worth?
I mean, right now it's not worth anything because it's in your hand until you start putting it to use. So right now it's just pieces of paper.
Bingo. Money, this is nothing, guys. This in my hand, y'all can't see me. Okay? Y'all can hear it. Y'all hear the money, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for giving me this. Appreciate it. I just put his money in my pocket, y'all. He's taking an L. I just got $20. Now I'm gonna get his back, man. All right. So money is useless until you spend it. Okay. All right. And I got you guys. Clubhouse is tripping. It's okay. We're still gonna rock and roll for those of you who are here. Now, would you rather put it in the bank and then you just say you're not gonna get wealthy saving money? Actually, in fact, this is a true fact. The longer you have your money sitting in a savings account, the more useless it is. And guess what the banks are doing? They're borrowing money against your money. So they're actually utilizing your money to lend to other people. So when you deposit money in the bank, okay, it's a ledger. It's fiat. It means it's useless until you actually invest it in something. So to get to 8 to 10%, it's a couple of ways. Okay, and we're going to go through those accounts. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. All right. Number one, we're going to talk about the UTMA, the 529 education account, the custodial Roth IRA, or a Coverdell account. Those are 4 accounts that you guys could get to 8 to 10%. Okay. And, the LLC, you can get that 8 to 10% with the money that you got in there by investing it in other assets that's going to produce money. Now, we're gonna talk about that here in a minute. But your money in the account, you're gonna get probably 0.00001%. It's useless until you invest it in something that's going to accrue the 8 to 10%. Now, I would challenge anyone to do that. Zarel, I see you on Facebook. Marin, are you still on Clubhouse? Can you hear me?
We hear you on Clubhouse.
Okay, McGinna, can you do me a favor? I'm going to ask you for a favor. Can you do me a favor? And I would like for you to do this one simple thing for me. I want you to Google what is the average return of the S&P, like the ampersand, the @ sign, S&P 500 over the last 10 years. The average return of the S&P 500 over the last 10 years. And I want every single person that's listening to my voice to do this. And I want you to have this as a reference, okay? Zarel, do this to, I see you on Facebook. I want you to do this as well. What is the average return of the S&P 500, okay, over the last 10 years? And I want you to come back and give me that answer. But as we're doing that, I want to go over the rest of this, okay? So let me recap. You create the business idea. That's the first step. Step 2, you're going to create the job description of what your kid's going to be doing. Step 3, you're going to talk about how, when, and where they're going to do it, what their responsibilities are. This is just a document. That's called a business plan. Number 4, you're going to document the times with a minutes document of when they're going to get paid. And then number 6, you're going to say how they're going to get compensated. Now, from there, once you have all of those things established, you're going to go and establish your limited liability company. So I'm going to go to the bank, open up a bank, get the limited liability company. And then I'm going to ask Ian and Bruno what's next after I establish my LLC. What do I need to take that paperwork to?
Take it to the bank so that you can open up a business checking and savings account.
Bingo. To establish what? The 3 C's, right?
Correct. Credit, collateral, and capital.
Bingo. Now, Bruno, can you expand on that? I'm going to pass this over to you, and then I want you to tell me some of those savings accounts that you guys could open. Make sure you got your note-taking gear because this is important. You don't have to do all of them, but at least establish 1 to 2 of them and split the profit into both. That's called diversification. Bingo. Bruno, over to you.
Okay, so one of the accounts that you can open, Tony, and I'm just to make sure I'm tracking right. So the 529 is this the route that we're talking about, or are we just talking about strictly for the LLC? Okay, all right. So one of the accounts that you guys can open and establish is called a 529 account, right? And what that is, it's a tax advantage savings plan, right? That's really kind of helped designed to incentivize the savings for future expenses, specifically for education expenses, right? And this is something it's called the 529 because it came out of the IRS code, which is the IRS code is 529, section 529. But the main purpose of it, right, as I mentioned before, is to encourage the savings for future expenses. Okay, so now we're talking about tuition, fees, books, supplies, all these things that people will normally go and have to get student loans for, and have to go beg, borrow, and steal to have the funds for them to be able to go to college and do everything else. So, in the topic, when we talk about you know the college versus business owners, right? Or business ownership, it stems back to where you're talking about earlier, Tony, where it's not one or the other. It could be one and the other. So it's on us for us to start doing and putting in the work now so that our children, they have, they can ultimately benefit from the fruits of our labor so that they can go to college, not have to take student loan or acquire student loan debt, right? And work towards their own business because everything else has already kind of been put together and money been saved to facilitate that process for them. Okay, so one of the advantages between a 529 is the fact that you have tax advantage. While the contributions themselves are not tax free, the interest that you make is tax deferred. So that's ultimately going to help. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so that's ultimately going to help in the future, right? Account ownership, contribution. So each state's 529 plan has its own contribution limit. So that obviously make sure you guys are checking that out. Let me see. Which is currently 15,000 per donor per beneficiary. Investment options. So the 529 plans typically offer a range of investment options such as mutual funds or age-based portfolios. And qualified education expenses. So withdrawals from a 529 account are tax-free if used for qualified education expenses. So that's one of the biggest things, right? Where you'll ultimately be able to have them tap into it, okay, and not have to pay a penalty or not have to pay, tax consequences for you being able to pull the money out.
Bingo. And let me go over this real quick. 529 is an education account. And let me summarize that, okay? And then he's going to put that in the chat. Bruno, see if you can put that in the chat on Clubhouse. The 529 education account is essentially an education account. There's two types. One is a prepaid college. Do not do that one. Don't do prepaid tuition for a college. That is the worst one, okay? Do the 529 education account to where it's generalized for any school, okay? Now, McGinna, did you get the numbers for me? Did you get a chance to look up?
Yes.
What do you got?
I have 12.84% from 2012 current.
Bingo. So in the past 10 years, the 529 account, the S&P 500 has yielded 12% year over year on average over the past 10 years. Show me a account right now, a savings account that you can get that type of return. Okay. So that's how you get to the 8 to 10% is utilizing one of these accounts. Now, essentially what happens is that the kid's company gets paid. The kid opens up these three accounts, a business checking, a savings, and a personal account. From that personal account, the money that they get that comes in, that personal account gets drafted into these accounts that we're going to discuss. One of the four that we're going to discuss is the 529 education account. Any questions about the 529 education account and how it works? Now, let's go over to the UTMA account. UTMA, put that in the chat right now. UTMA. So we got the 529 account. For those of you who are on Facebook, we're breaking these down, and then we're going to wrap up because we're almost done, guys. You're in the power hour right now. We're going to talk about, now just to recap, okay, establish the business. Boom. Create the limited liability company. General partner versus limited partner. General partner means that you're doing a joint member LLC, you and your kids on that LLC. That's joint membership. Limited partner, general partner means that the kid is the general, and then or you can do a single member, which is your kid is the only one on the LLC as a minor. Okay. Now You do the certificate of authority to operate that LLC in the state that doesn't allow children LLC. And then you do the operating agreement on how the company is to operate. Okay. Then from there, you take the documents from the documents that the attorney gives you, and then you take those documents and then you take them to the bank and open up those accounts. From those accounts, then you set up these college savings plans or these personal savings plans. Are there any questions about the structure or where we're at in regard to what to set up right now? Any questions on Twitter? Any questions on Twitter, YouTube, or Clubhouse, or Facebook?
I just wanted to add here, Anthony, I Googled the interest on the UTMA in case you wanted it for
Yeah,
everyone.
go ahead, drop it in.
It's 7%, which is still a lot higher than the savings accounts.
Bingo. So as we're going through these things, guys, we're going to be talking about these accounts. Now let's go over to the UTMA. Okay. UTMA. And nobody's talking about this stuff. So if you guys are still here and you just joined us, get on stage, raise your hand and come up, please. Okay. Respectfully. Now, basically what we're talking about is how to avoid student loan debt. The personal account gets deposited into the investment account. Okay. So Toria, let me give this to you real quick. Okay. Step 1. Okay. Use the company that, whatever revenue that your kid's making, or if you hire your kid, you pay the kid's business account. Okay. Then from the business account then pays your kid's personal account. Now, from the personal account will then fund these accounts that we're talking about right now. That's the structure. Now, if you have a company and you just pay your kid, you don't have to have an LLC to pay your kids, okay? So as you're paying your kids, you can just pay your kids $12,950 as long as you document it with the minutes document, okay? Did I answer your question, Toria, on Facebook? You can put it in the chat, okay? I want to make sure you get your question answered. Now let's go back over. Thank you, McGinna, for answering that. All right. So now let's go over to the UTMA. Okay. Who has the UTMA? Is that Bruno or Ian?
I can cover it.
Go ahead.
Okay, UTMA. All right. So UTMA, it stands for it's Uniform Tango Mike Alpha. That's coincidence. Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. All right. So it's in a custodial account. That's what it's for. And it's a type of financial account established for the benefit of the minor. All right. So it's all set up so that way you can transfer assets to a minor. All right. So the main purpose of the account. All right, here we go. It's designed to hold and manage assets. Your cash, securities, real estate, all that stuff.
Pause right there. Say that one more time. One more time. Cash and what else?
Cash, securities, and real estate for the benefit of the minor until they reach adulthood. Typically, 18 to 21 years old, depends on the state law. Okay. You want to break off that, Tony? Or do you want me to keep going?
Keep going and give a couple of nuggets. I want the max contribution and when can they take the money out?
Okay, so they can take the money out when they reach adulthood, 18 or 21, 18 to 21, depending on the state. Okay? All right. So here, I'm going to go over a little bit more and I'll get to the max contribution, all right? So the ownership, the account is owned by the minor, but it's managed by a custodian, like an adult, and they control it on behalf of the minor. All right, so the custodian has a fiduciary to act in the minor's best interest. So what that means is that you are also kind of somewhat accountable for this thing if you have a fiduciary to this account. So you can't go wild and blow it up for no reason. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble. All right, so anybody can contribute to a UTMA account. That's what's really cool about this. So if you're say you don't have kids and you got your nephew or niece and you want to help them out or something like that, and then you leave something in your trust to say, hey, when I die, $20 goes to my niece Stacy And so you can anybody can contribute to this account. It's not just somebody in your family. And the custodian has the authority to make decisions in regards to how the funds will be used. All right. So the ownership. All right. So once the minor reaches the age of adulthood, the account will transfer into their ownership and control. Okay. So this is all another big opportunity to use your money pre-tax. All right. So this is a way of spending this money so that way you don't have to spend it in taxes. Okay. Really great trick of the rich, as they say. All right. So once they're in ownership, they can use the funds as they see fit without any restrictions.
Now pause right
so
there. Pause right there.
There you go.
I don't want to get too deep into that, but I want to just cover a couple of things, the highlights of the UTMA, and you guys are going to have to look this up because of the restriction of time. And Sierra is back. So the UTMA is a basically like a account on steroids. Essentially, what happens is that you fund that account. Okay, and then that account accrues interest over time. And at the age of 18, this is the benefit. Now, a lot of people are talking about this. Okay, and Sierra, I see that you're back in. I want you to go over. the custodial Roth IRA, the max contribution, and when you can take the money out. You got that, Sierra? Can you do that for me? We'll call you up next. Okay, Sierra.
Do you want me to finish up with the max contribution for this one?
Yes. Okay. What is the max contribution to the UTMA?
There is no max contribution to the UTMA.
Bingo.
Bingo. That's a big one right there.
There is no max contribution to the UTMA. Now, what does that mean, guys? That means that you can put money in there. Now, once you get to a max, if you start putting like $100 million in there, which is nobody in this room, but the beauty of this is that, now follow me with this process. I create the LLC. I'm a real estate professional. Let me give you an example and how I'm doing it. I create a limited liability company for my children. Watch this, guys. Okay? Now watch this. Ellis just put it in there. That's correct. Anyone can contribute up to $17,000 per child each year free of gift tax consequences. That's insane, guys. $34,000 if married. So imagine if I have a business. I want to put this money in a UTMA. Now, the beauty of this situation is that once I put that money in there at the age of 18, my kids can do it. But you can have real estate in there too, right? So when you're looking up the UTMA and you start funding this, guys, instead of putting the money in a regular account, why not put the money in a UTMA and a 529? One for education and then one for money. If I go 1 and 2, I'm going to do the UTMA. And I'm going to do the 529. One, I'm going to do pre-savings for college. And the other one is I'm going to put real estate assets to grow my kids' wealth over time. Are you guys following me with this? And guess what, y'all? We back on Clubhouse, man. Hey, okay. All right. So now, what up, Gino? Make sure you bring Gino up. That's the homie. Okay. And make Gino a moderator, please. So as we're talking about this, now we're open up for business, guys. When we're talking about this thing and we're giving you guys this information, listen, once you establish this stuff, guys, and I'm going to show you guys how my daughter will have over $600,000 if you stay here during the power hour. Now that we're back on Clubhouse and we're starting to bubble up, for those of you who are in the listening lounge, raise your hand and get on stage. That's going to help us. How do you do that? Hit the little clipboard down at the bottom. And for those of you guys that are on Twitter Spaces, thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Larry, Texas, Jason. Raise your hand. Shout out to the people that are on Twitter. Retweet the space, okay? And that chat feature down at the bottom. If you hit that chat feature and put WIN, retweet win, above my head, you'll see our YouTube channel, okay? And this information is all going to rest there if you guys if you weren't able to catch that information. But today we're talking about building generational wealth through these tools. So far, we went through the 4 states. What are the 4? Let's do a little bit of real estate trivia. All right, here's the deal, guys. What are the 4 states that you can set up a minor LLC with? Somebody just kick it like a sensei. Go ahead and kick it. What are the states?
California, Delaware, Wyoming, or California, Delaware, Ohio, Wyoming.
Okay, bingo. Now, somebody tell me what's the max amount that I can pay my kids tax-free through if I'm paying them, if they're employed through my company. What's the max amount that I can pay them tax-free?
$12,950.
$12,950 tax-free. That's $1,079.16. Okay, now, Who can tell me the definition of an operating agreement?
That's a written document between you and whoever you employ or whoever you're working with, actually with you, between you and your child. And this documentation is for the three C's that you talked about: credit, collateral, and what's the third one? I forgot. But
Uh-oh. What's the third one?
credit, collateral, and um,
Greenbacks, cabbage, federales.
yeah,
All right.
cabbage.
Cabbage. All right. The coin, Jack. Okay. That's right. Keep going. All right. So now that's correct. That's what the operating agreement, it basically is basically the document that you're going to need in order to say, to give the rules of the business. Here's some examples of companies that you can open for a kid: social media marketing, brand ambassador. Okay. Um, a lifestyle person. The brand ambassador is a big one because they can advertise for your brand. When you see kids on TV, right? That's their advertising, right? Social media advertiser, drop shipping. I mean, even a cookie. They make cookies and bake cookies. Establish a business so they know how to operate it. Take their look. I got money in my pocket right now from my kids that I have to deposit. Look, check this out. Right here, you can see I got cash money right here in my pocket that I have to deposit for my children. When I get home, my daughter on live is going to deposit this money. She gets to keep $10, and the rest of it she has to deposit into the bank. She's 10. She just turned 10. She's understanding the power of money. Okay. And guess what? When I have a credit card that they're authorized users on, to establish their credit, and they have business credit. They're establishing business credit with their limited liability company. Now let's take this one step further. Okay. Who did I ask to Google something for me? Sierra's driving, so we'll get back to her. All right. So I want you guys to Google. Bruno, can you tell me the difference between an authorized user, and a, what's the other one? What am I thinking about, guys?
Yeah, you're talking about an authorized user and
Why am I drawing a blank?
a
Authorized user.
joint
A joint member.
a
A
a
joint member.
a joint member.
Yeah.
Yes. So the biggest thing is going to be this, right? So for a joint member, that's somebody that shares the financial responsibilities of that account, right? So anything that is owed, everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Both credits get taken into account. That's a joint. An authorized user, right? And that's the key on one of the things that we're always talking about: getting your children added as authorized users, right? Because all of the positive will report to their credit, but none of the negative will report. Okay, so it can only help and it won't hurt because they don't have the financial responsibilities to pay any of the debt. So the authorized user reaps all the benefits. The joint member, they get it all. So it's just the same as far as for the good and the bad.
Outstanding, guys. And for those of you who have just joined us, if you want to see us, click that link above our head. And then Bruno is going to, he's going to put in that chat today an example of a minutes document today. You guys are going to get it for free. Okay. So click that link above
It's
my
live
head.
right now.
Okay. It's up there now. It's already there.
Yeah, it is. So it's already in our Facebook group, guys. So what happens is I need you guys to click on that link that's above our heads right there. So one, you're gonna have to join the group, okay? And this is to give you an idea of some of the nuggets that you're getting for free. All you got to do is make sure that you join the group. In there, you're gonna go to where it says file, and then all the way to the right, when you click where it says file, you're going to be able to access two documents that we have on there right now. One, it's the template and a rough draft for a business plan, and then the other one is the minutes. Okay, so the minutes, I put it in there as a Word document. Okay, so normally we would go and put it as a PDF. I put it in as a Word document, meaning that there is absolutely, positively no excuse for somebody not being able to get started. Because if nothing else, all you got to do is you download the one that we have and you just input your information and it's done for you.
Bingo. Okay, and then guys, let me reset the room. You guys are in business, the college versus business owner battle to generational wealth. Today we're talking to you guys about how to establish a business. And then we're not talking about the reason why we wanted to get you in here is because we want to talk to you guys about what your thought process is in regard to building generational wealth. We gave you the compound interest calculator. We gave you the states that you can open up a minor LLC. We gave you guys some ideas of how to establish the business. We talked about how to set up the limited liability company, and we talked to you guys about the 3 accounts that you guys need to set up and what you're going to build. The 3 C's, which is credit, collateral, and capital, for your kid to get a business line of credit and have an operational business that's been in place for years. And then also by doing that and having that money in there, then you can utilize that money because you have experience, okay, with operating a business. And then you have 15 years, if you do it at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or whatever, you have experience for those people to have a business, okay? And then once you have that, the bank will allow you to borrow against that money. Now, here's a little bit of real estate trivia. What is the foreign qualification or the certificate of authority? Pop quiz. Who wants to jump in and give me the definition of that?
Repeat the question, please.
Okay, Marion be answering them questions, boy. Okay, Viviana, are you with us? Viviana? Okay. Viviana, will come back to you. Make sure you give Viviana a follow. What is the foreign qualification or the certificate of authority? What exactly is it? Put that in the chat right now. Foreign qualification, and retweet that on Twitter. Foreign qualification or certificate of authority. Why do business people reach out to people with college degrees for legal, financial, and platform advice? This is ridiculous. Okay. All right, Lawrence, well, come on up. Come on up. I'm willing to talk to you. Why do business people reach out to people with college degrees for legal, financial, and platform advice? Okay.
Because they're qualified, Anthony. They're qualified because they have learned how to follow whatever is out there as a policy or as a rule. They just have more qualification than the average Joe who's walking down the street who have no idea what it takes to, document all the stuff. Hopefully that helps you.
Okay, Lawrence, what's your question? Did you want to ask that question on stage?
Yeah, it was just a question based off the title of the room. It says college versus business owner. And I kind of hear these conversations, I guess, trying to lean towards entrepreneurship, but yet entrepreneurs typically use people that have the college degrees anyways. The idea of us being even on this app is because an engineer actually has a college degree, creates this stuff, or the telephone that we have, the electricity grid that we have. All of this is not by happenstance. So it's kind of a ridiculous postulate, and I wouldn't put them versus each other because they just work together.
Okay, I'm glad. And when did you come in this room?
Just came into this room, man.
Bingo. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the space. Guys, what have we been teaching? What did I say when we started the space? What did I say? It's not this or that. Is this
And that.
And that.
There you go, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay. So what?
Lawrence caught the tail end of it.
Yeah, Lawrence,
So,
go ahead, jump in.
But I'm glad that you came in here, brother. So the thing is this, man. And again, right? So we are doing what the media does and everything else, man. We are trying to put something out there that is going to get people to start having this conversation, to say, you know what, click, I'm hopping in there. Let's have a conversation, right? And the thing that you miss, man, and you're right. I think that the points that you're making, you know what I mean? Why do business people? So me as a business owner, you're 100% right, brother. I am not going to be getting legal advice from somebody who is not certified, that does not have the qualifications, right? And that can assume the liabilities behind the things that they tell me, right? Exactly why the information that we kick on here, we go and we say, look, man, we are only giving you guys the information based off of our experience. When we talk about taxes, you need to make sure that you consult with your tax professional. If we give any sort of legal experiences, we still caveat that by saying make sure for you to tap in with your attorney and everything else, right? But the idea, right, is it's the It's essentially kind of like the rich dad poor dad mentality, right? Where a lot of times we are hardwired to, we get up, we got to go to school, we do all these things because the ultimate goal is for us to go get that degree so that we can go get a job, right? And now we don't talk about all the symptoms behind seeking that the higher education, right? So this is a way for us to kind of tap into how can you reach the same goal and not have it set up to where you are ultimately suffering from all the symptoms that come from it. Specifically, we addressed student loan debt and things like that, right? And then we are trying to show people ways that you, as a business owner, you can ultimately set it up for your children, right? To where they can reap the benefits of both worlds. They can go to college. Everybody that's on here, every moderator that's up here speaking, we all have college degrees, but in doing so, as we are each entrepreneurs, right? There are ways that we can look at to where it shouldn't be one or the other, which is how society has somewhat funneled things into one or the other. But we are saying you can go to school, and you know what? You don't have to do so by taking student loans and taking on massive amounts of debt, so that you can go get the job to then worry about spending the next 20, 30 years of your life paying off the debt that you incurred so you can get that job that you're working in now.
Now that's good, man. Now, Lawrence, do you have a college degree?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, how much did it cost you?
In totality, 110,000.
Okay. And what's your degree in?
Accounting.
Okay. All right. So you in a field that okay. So an accountant, essentially what you do is you paid $100,000 for that. Did you have to get a student loan to go through that, or did you have scholarships?
No, I had student loans to pay through that, majority of it.
Okay, now you're the perfect example because that's a really good degree to get, right? So from that accounting degree, did you graduate from now? Are you have a graduate degree or undergraduate degree for accounting?
Just an undergraduate degree.
Great. That's perfect. Now, $100,000. Now, when you graduated from school, what age were you in that 4-year degree?
In totality, I graduated or ended my schooling when I was 30, by 2012.
Okay, 20.
So I do have some master's classes though.
That's good. And the reason why we like people like this, because now, did you go get out of college immediately making $110,000 or more with that degree?
No, I did not.
That's what we're trying to avoid, my friend. So stick in there with us, and this is the reason why we're talking about this. Okay, and just so you guys know, I have a MA, a Master of Accounting, and I have a MBA, a Master of Business Administration. Now follow me with this, and then I just want anyone to answer this question. I'm just going to drive you guys through something, okay, to prove to further a point, okay, and really, and thank you so much, Lawrence, for jumping in and being a good sport, because what we're talking about is for children, for you to avoid student loan debt, so you can change the narrative and create an opportunity for the kids to avoid student loan debt utilizing these tools. Here's 4 of them: the UTMA account. As an accountant, have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
529 education account, the Coverdell account, and a custodial Roth account. Those are the 4 that we're discussing to fund with a small business while your kids are instead of like me, I didn't get one. Anthony Glenn II didn't get one penny to go to school. I had to figure it out, right? But now I have a daughter and a son. Both of them are employed through my business, right? And both of them are, right now, I'm going to show you guys and prove to you guys how $35,000 investment, I'm going to give you guys $1 million strategy that it's going to show you guys how my daughter will have $600,000 by the time she's 18. She's 10, so I have 8 more years. Okay. Now, are you going to stick around for that? You're going to hang out with me, Lawrence, and I might call on you to be a volunteer as well. Do you have children, brother?
No, I do not have a child.
Okay.
A kid or a child, I guess.
Okay. Awesome, brother. Well, thank you for being a good sport. So let's get back to this teaching real quick. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the We talked about the 529 education account. We talked about the UTMA account. Now we're going to talk about the custodial Roth IRA, and we're going to talk about the Coverdell account. Bruno, Ian, do you guys want to jump in? Where are you guys at right now? Who wants to jump in on those two?
On the Coverdell, I can jump in on that one.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the Coverdell. Put Coverdell in the chat right now. This is an account that you guys could look into. And these information, all you got to do is call your bank and ask about them. You don't have to do all of them. Just do one and start with one. We showed you with the compound interest calculator. We showed you in the S&P 500, the S&P 500 yields 12% over the last 10 years. All you got to do is call your bank and set these accounts up. Coverdell account is going to be the next one. Now, there are limitations to this one. If I was going to go 1 and 2, Anthony Glenn would do the 529 education account and the Coverdell account along with the limited liability company. Okay, now let's go to the actual other portion. Okay, 30,000 undergrad, 80,000 grad classes. No worries though. 90,000 will be forgiven at December 2023. Okay, Lawrence, I got you, brother, but you still got student loan debt. Okay, and that's the fundamental part. And you could have avoided that student loan debt if your parents would have planned for you. Okay, now I'm saying the same thing. If my parents would have planned for me and I would have known about this information, then I would rather have the money and then get my student loan debt forgiven and have these money in this account to invest in assets that's going to print money versus invest that $30,000 in student loan debt versus start a business. I'm starting the business to pay off my college, and I'm creating something that I can pass down from generation to come. Education is not bingo. Education is not education does not create generational wealth. The job that you get to create, let me tell you the fundamental difference between this thing, okay? And anybody can debate me. I'm ready to go. If anybody can show me where a college education would give you $1 million, I'm willing for anyone to give me a strategy with a college education that can give me somebody in this audience. I'm willing to debate with anyone that can give me $1 million plan that's better than the one that I'm about to give you. Okay. So I want you guys to come up and tell me how. Give me a strategy on how a U.S. college education can make you a millionaire. And I'm going to prove to you guys a strategy that anyone can do here with $35,000 investment will make you a millionaire. Okay. And I'll prove it real time. Okay. All right. So now let's continue to move on. Let's build. Okay. All right. Cause I want the people to listen to the information that I'm about to give them. Okay. Now, Coverdell, go ahead and kick it like a sensei, Ian.
All right. Can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
All right. Beautiful. Okay. So Coverdell. Okay, so the Coverdell and the 529, they work pretty similar, right? Where they're both dedicated towards education. And where the two biggest difference that you're going to experience with these two accounts is a 529, think of college. All right. And then the Coverdell can be used for both college, but it can also be used for like K through 12 education too. All right, so that's one of the major differences. All right, one of them can be used for undergrad and preparatory education. So if you ever want to send little Johnny to private school, that's the best way to do it, or that's one of the ways to do it. Excuse me. And then the other big difference that you have in those two accounts, though, is that the 529, it does not have a limit. Or excuse me, each 529 has its own limit, all right? But they can vary by state, but there's no federal limit on the contributions. All right, so some plans, it's a little bit different, but some of them can be moderated a little bit, but depending on what kind of state you're in, what state you're in. All right, but the biggest difference too, though, is that the Coverdell, you're only allowed to put like $2,000 a year in. All right, but the 529, like according to the federal rules, has no limits that you could apply to it. And then the other difference, once again, is that the Coverdell can be used for, preparatory K through 12 education, and the 529 is typically only for higher education. Any questions?
Okay, and what we're doing is basically breaking down the maximum amount of money you can put in there. The fundamental difference between all of them is that the 529 education account has limitations on utilizing the money for college and room and board, right? The UTMA, it can you put money in there, and then it's a custodial account that you can build, but they take advantage of that at 18. And then you have your custodial Roth IRA, the Coverdale $2,000 per year, custodial Roth 6.529 plan varies. Thank you, Lawrence. That's good information, and that's what we're talking about today. So when you look at the Coverdale, there is a limitation of how much you can put in there, which is $2,000 per year from 2022. It might have went up. If I'm not mistaken. I want you to fact check that so we get the information out. And for instructional purposes only, we're not enrolled agents or anything. We're not selling you anything. We're just giving you the information and looking at where to find it. Now, the beauty of the fundamental part that we're going to talk about next, and the last account that we're going to talk about, funding with the money that your business you establish for your kids, is the custodial Roth IRA. Bruno, are you there?
Most definitely.
Okay, can you kick it like
All
a
right.
sensei? Talk about the custodial Roth and when you can take that money out of the custodial Roth.
Okay, so a custodial Roth, so by definition, so it's a type of individual retirement account. Okay, and that's established for a minor, and it's managed by a custodian. So it's typically whether it's a parent or whichever legal guardian. So the account it allows for tax-free growth of investments and tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Okay, so the contributions are made with your after-tax dollars, and the funds are typically invested in things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever other investment vehicles, right? So the custodian is the one that's going to ultimately oversee the account until that minor reaches the age of adulthood or majority, right? And then at that point, the account ownership is going to be transferred to the minor, who can continue to contribute to the account and make their own investment decisions. The custodial Roth IRA is what's going to ultimately provide a way for you to start saving money for retirement early and take advantage of the potential benefits of tax-free growth over the long term. And then you said that you wanted to for me to hit what age?
Yes, and I'll just cover that real quick. The
Okay,
biggest
okay.
the biggest thing is that the custodial Roth, right? It's exactly what it is. It's a retirement account, guys. Okay, so that means that at the retirement age is when you could start withdrawing money out of there. Okay, so that is for retirement. Okay, and if you look up the retirement age, we'll provide that and give that to you guys as we reset the room. And I got some questions to answer. So guys, okay, you're in the power hour. We're about to go down. Who has questions about those accounts? The LLC 529, UTMA, UGMA, and custodial Roth IRA, and then a Coverdale. Any questions? Okay, 529 account, college utility. I'm reading this. Okay, no federal contribution limit. Coverdale, K through 12, and college utility, 2,000 annual contribution limit. Can you explain the LLC again? Oh, hell no. We can't explain the LLC again, but this is what I'm going to do, Neek. If you go back and listen to the replays, okay, if you click above my head, okay, the LLC information is going to be there. Well, I'll give an overview of the limited liability company for the children. But what we're going to do is we're going to post the link at the top. Can you change the link at the top to the YouTube channel, please? Okay, for those of you who are listening in this room, the 42 people here today, I go through an entire limited liability company explaining the LLCs, okay? I'm going to give you guys this stuff, where to find it, okay? I'm going to text this actual, let me see here, which one is this one? Right now on live, on the YouTube, okay? I have the trust explained, okay? We're going to talk about this last thing and then we're going to be done, okay? I'm going to share this to Ian real quick. Give me 1 second as I do this. Share, copy link. Okay, I'm posting this so you can actually don't have to go all the way through and you can find the exact one. I'm posting this right now. So Ian can post this link at the top. Ian, can you post that link on Twitter Spaces, the YouTube channel, explaining the difference between the LLC, S Corp, C Corp? Guys, listen to me. The reason why we're bringing this information to you guys is because nobody's teaching it. Do you know why? Let me go through a little road trip with you guys, okay? And for those of you who are in the listening lounge, please raise your hand. The Clubhouse was glitching a little bit. Usually we have close to 1,000 people when we teach this class, but luckily we have people on Facebook Live so they can actually hear me. And then now I'm going to read a couple of things from the trust as Bruno talks about the revocable, irrevocable trust and making sure how you guys set this stuff up. So let me do a quick recap. Ian, did you post that link at the top, the LLC, S Corp, C Corp explained? Okay, Ian, are you there? He's probably posting it at the top. Bruno, can you post that YouTube at the top? Nick, can you let me know when that link is at the top, the YouTube channel with the LLC explained? Okay.
It's there already.
Okay, magnificent. Okay, so what I would like for you to do is, Nick, click that link above my head, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and put done in the chat, and follow those instructions, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's 2 hot ones that we just did. Now you got this third one. We have the LLC, S Corp, C Corp explain, why you want to set them up and the pros and cons of all of them. And then also you have the trust class set up as well. Those are at the very top, guys. Those are hot. I'm telling you, man, I had to pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to figure this stuff out. And guys, now you don't have to. Okay. Now let's talk about, let me answer some questions. Okay. So now we have, are there any questions about what was taught today? Does anybody on stage have any questions or want to raise your hand, get on stage? I see Ryan says, any recommendations on where to start any of these accounts, especially the UTMA? No, we can't give you legal advice on where to start them, but what you can do is call your banks. Typically, the American population usually has 2 bank accounts. All you got to do is call them and ask them about it. That's it. Okay. All right. So it says, any recommendations on where to start? Call your bank. Listen to me. Call your bank. Tell them, I want to set up a 529 and a UTMA account. If they don't have those accounts that where you can set them up, you need to get with another bank. Okay. And the reason why they're not, the reason why they don't publicly talk about these savings things is because the banks make money off of making you borrow money. That's called compound interest. Okay. So as we're going through this stuff, we want to tell you guys how to avoid having to pay. Okay. Now let me see. Seems like the 401k, the 403b, and the 457 are better options for most Americans, wherein you can lower your taxable income by $22,500. Okay. I would agree and disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree with the 401k is that, yes, the only way you can invest in a 401k is that you have to own a business or you have to be working in a business that offers the 401k. And the problem with the 401k is that that's a retirement account. I think the SEP IRA is actually a better scenario because the SEP IRA allows you to invest $66,000 over the regular traditional Roth IRA. So I like the traditional 401k. So yes, the 401k might be a good options, but the problem that what I like is that, you know, instead of doing the actual 401k, right? And typically people aren't maxing out their 401k, and there's limitations that usually there's a 10% hit if you take that money out before the retirement age. So why not invest in a SEP IRA where you can have real estate in the SEP? You also can, there's a higher contribution to the SEP, which is $66,000. And I also think that creating any type of corporate structure and then utilizing that for your tax deduction is actually better than a 401k too. If I set up a limited liability company or S Corp or anything like that, now you can't deduct anything with your 401k if you don't have an established business. So I actually think that setting up a LLC or an S Corp or creating a business is better than the 401k because now I get to write off my property write off my company renting my property from my personal residence, which is called the Augusta rule. Now, who else want to battle? Who else wants to battle? All right. So as we kick this information out and you look at, we're not telling you guys not to set up a 401k or invest in a 401k. But one thing that I like over the 401k is investing in real estate because I can predict what's going to print. You invest in a 401k. Let's talk about this. And then I'll do a mic drop and open up the mic for questioning. All right. Here's a fact. Yes, I raised my hand earlier. Okay. Spitting facts. Antronetta, do you have any questions? Twitter dropped off? Okay. All right. Let me see, man. I'm messing around with my phone. Okay. So did Twitter drop off? Okay. I want to make sure that we still have Twitter Spaces live. Man, why is everything crashing today, man? Twitter's even tripping. My Twitter Spaces is not.
It's too much fire, man. It's too much fire.
I'm telling you, man, that's the government trying to shut me down from all of this fire I'm kicking. All right. So here's the deal, guys. Okay. I don't care what, I'm only going to debate with facts. Okay. If anybody wants to go toe to toe with me on a 401k, okay, because I hear a lot of people dropping a lot of gems, but listen, can somebody tell me what the Augusta rule is?
That's when you're ultimately able to write off some of the rent or rent that you are charging your business for holding things, or meetings or events in your place of residence for up to 14 days, I believe it was.
Bingo, right? So I can't do that with you know what you can't do with the 401k? You can't hire your kids with a 401k and pay them $12,950. You know what else the 401k problem is? The 401k problem is that you have to take advantage of that when you're at the age of retirement. The other problem with the 401k is that the 401k, when you take money out, you got to pay it back. Okay. Another problem with the 401k is that it has max contributions that you can only put $22,500 unless you're doing 401k matching. Okay. So when you're looking at all of this stuff, right, I'm not telling you not to do, I have a 401k. Let me be clear. Okay. I have a 401k. All right. But when you start talking about the limitations, I would rather invest that $22,500 in a piece of real estate. Okay, because the 401k is only limited to the money that whatever the 401k is invested in for me to get more money. The fundamental difference, and I'm gonna pass the mic over to Ian, is that real estate prints money. That's called passive income. The only way that you can make money off of the 401k is that I have to make money, invest that money, which requires for me to work, and then I got to depend on what the stock market does, which fluctuates. The fundamental difference between having a business or a piece of real estate is those two things, a business, S Corp, C Corp, LLC that's making money. And the business is that the business allows me to reduce my taxable income. Okay. And then that allows me to depreciate things. And then the piece of real estate, okay, the piece of real estate allows me it allows depreciation. Whatever that piece of real estate is, I get to take that piece of real estate and divide by 27 and a half years, which lowers my taxable income. And then that piece of real estate, as long as I have it, will produce me money infinitely. That means as long as I have it, that's going to print money. And then once I die and I have a 401k, they inherit the money that's in there. Once I die with a piece of real estate and I have that property, my kids get to inherit that property that's printing money. That's called passive income. Okay. So as we're talking about these things and we're going on the ones and twos with all of these, speculative things, why not get the real estate, set up the 401k? So you create the 3 checks in the boxes. I have an asset that's printing money, which is the property. I have the LLC, which allows me to fund my 401k from the income that I have coming in from the what? Tenants. Okay. Now, here down. Okay. So, all right. Now, any other questions? Okay. Any questions? Anybody have questions? Custodial Roth. Okay. Did we talk about that, Ian?
Yes, we did.
All right. Outstanding. Now, Anybody have any questions on stage, or anybody have any value to add to the conversation?
Yeah, man, I wanted to highlight so what's being talked about in the chat right now. Okay, so and you've said this, but I want to reiterate it for everybody to hear this. Okay, so the information that is being kicked here, okay, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. It's none of that. Okay, this is Tony, a person who has made a significant amount of money, sharing his experiences and telling you how it is that he got to where it is that he got to now. He is giving us perspective and showing, a different way to look at things so that we are not bound by what is the traditional way to go about it, because people are not traditionally wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think, and that's what I want us to kind of to kind of process and put it together. Okay, we are looking at different ways for you to be able to make your money work for you instead of you having to trade your time for money. Ultimately, the goal is being able to reach a certain point of generating passive income to where you are not trading your time for money. Okay, my account, one of the things that my account tells me every time that we that we got off the phone, man. And he makes me repeat these, right? He's like, "Hey, Bruno, what's the three?" And I'm like, "All right, man. S corp, rental properties, retirement accounts. The three things that you want to make sure that you're hitting." So, in my case, getting the LLC, putting in a S corp election, acquiring as many rental properties as possible, and three is using these methods to start maximizing and tapping into the benefits that you can get from the different types of investment or of retirement accounts.
Now, Lawrence, you're welcome to come up here and ask me some
I'm still
questions.
here, man. I'm still here. I was just waiting for you guys because every once in a while you say, "Hey, you're gonna let somebody
Jump
share."
in. Go ahead.
Which,
Jump in. Jump in.
first and foremost, this is not an argument. I don't argue with people. It's not my thing. Just like you, I used to be in the Marine Corps. I don't think
Oh,
Marines
simplify,
argue
brother.
unless we kill somebody, huh?
Simplify.
Yeah, you already know. If we have to argue, somebody ends up dead. So we don't argue. We just kind of share information. I
Sure.
think what you're saying is an interesting perspective, especially as being a successful entrepreneur. You've done this and you've done that, and you've, I guess, experienced life in a certain bracket. But I don't necessarily think the information is applicable to everyone, which is part and parcel because of what Bruno just said. Like, this is not personal finance advice. You got to actually do your own work, due diligence, so on and so forth. But I guess I'm worried that some people in the audience, they're hearing some of these things and you're like, oh, 401k, he said 401k is not good. And they're simplifying it or almost like dripping it down to the finite detail and say, you know what, 401k doesn't work. But in truth, it actually does work for the average American. It actually does provide a lot of opportunities for the average American to become millionaires if they actually use it correctly. So it's not necessarily incorrect the way it's presented. It's just, somehow some people are just going to run down the street with half the information. I just wanted to say that, not to say it's bad. I see what you guys are doing. I get it, but some people are just going to run down the street with it. They're going to really mess up their lives trying to follow some of these advice. So it's going to be interesting.
Okay. Now let me talk to you for a minute, brother. Okay. Prove to me where you're on track to make $1 million with the 401k.
Proof to you. That's fairly simple. Me and my wife invest the $22,500 at the max into our 401k in the next whatever amount of years that you compound at 8%, the historical average, it will become $1 million in around 17 years or less. Like, me and my wife are becoming millionaires this year in the total of like 10 years because of what we've been doing with our personal finance. And we're not business owners. So it's not, the average American can do this. It just, there's a lot of financial principles that you gotta really incorporate to make it happen for you. Maybe not at the level of, multi-million dollar real estate owners, but it's possible.
Okay. Now, maxing out your 401k, $22,500. Okay. Now, I think you're missing the point. Okay. So when you come in a space and you want to share information, right? You got to read the room, brother. Okay. Now, you said, I never did say that the 401k was bad. I just gave the pros and cons of the 401k. Now, the 401k, is it for retirement or no?
Yes, it is for retirement, and most people actually leaning for retirement because if you look at the data
Just
that
answer the
comes out
question, bro, because we're
screamingly all
short.
the time in
We're
media,
short on time.
that people are retiring broke as hell, man. Come on, let's
Okay,
not. I guess let's
okay.
not be
So so
obtuse about it.
so if you look at the 401k, the problem, the 401k, I'm not telling you that the 401k is bad. If you listen instead of trying to debate, we're providing information on.
Incorrect again. I just told you I'm not trying to
Okay.
debate. I understand your
Okay. If you
perspective,
interrupt me
and
again,
I'm
you're gonna
just
go off
giving
the.
my
If you're
part
gonna
as well.
interrupt me again, you're gonna go out of my room. Okay? Because I'm trying
I
to.
will go out, man.
Thank
No
you very much.
deuces, man.
Respectfully.
Thanks.
Respectfully. Thank you. Okay. See, this is the problem, right? Look, people be coming in here debating, and we try to give him an opportunity, but the stuff that I didn't want to get on him and tell him that that narrow thinking. He's not going to have $1 million investing in the 401k. Okay. This room is to educate the people. Okay. He's so linear focused on the information, and you can see it's driving down okay. Number one, he had $100,000 of student loan debt that he borrowed against. We gave opportunities to not. He was so focused on having a job. At 33 years old, he made 50 grand. Okay, with $100,000 debt. Okay. Number two, him and his wife investing in the 401k has limitations. He has to invest in that instead of it printing money. That is not passive income. That's active income, which means that he has to have a job to invest, and he's not diversified because he has his money only in a bucket that has a ceiling, which is the 401k, right? So we're just trying to help and give information. This and then the listening experience it becomes obscure because the people who want to learn and utilize the information will utilize the information. The people who want, this is what I would say: never take advice from someone who's not doing something that you're trying to do. The fundamental reason, if you read the space, okay, what we were talking about is how to create a limited liability company for your children, the 4 accounts options that you can invest in to avoid student loan debt. And then the 401k question and all of that stuff, we'll talk about that in another space. But we wanted to provide information on how you can build generational wealth through these tools to avoid student loan debt. Then I'll give you guys an example of that, and I'll explain to you guys how my daughter, if you guys want to know how my daughter is going to make that money, okay, put a 1 in the chat, because I want people not to miss this valuable education because someone is not focused on what we're trying to teach, okay? Because I debate with facts, and it make people uncomfortable. If they want to come up and give me another example of the one that I'm trying to provide today, then that's fine. But, arguing a point, and talking about the 401k, when we're with you guy saying that the 401k is a tool, but it has its limitations. And as you can see, we're familiar with the 401k. All right. So, Ian, are you there?
Yes, sir. Still here. What's up?
Okay. Are there any questions before we move on to this example? And then I'll read some stuff out of the trust.
Hey, I got a question.
I have an answer.
Hey, real quick, Anthony. First of all, I want to tell you guys thank you for just having this topic. It's very, in a positive way, thought provoking and very informal, informational. Excuse me.
Oh,
And
hold on real quick.
the
Is that
second
is that
thing
my brother
is,
Zarel?
you know, I
Is that Zarel?
yeah, it's me.
Wait, hold on, Doc. Can we put a heart emoji in the chat for Zarel, who just utilized his VA home loan benefit to buy a multi-unit for him and his family right here on Clubhouse. Zarel, man, can we go off mic and say congratulations on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job,
Hey.
Zuriel. Well done, my man. That's right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys so much, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate your team as well. One thing that I want to do is acknowledge, Ian, Bruno, Sierra, Constance, Kathy Wade, uh, Kalia. I'm sorry, Kayla, and Kyler. I always forget Kyler. My bad, Kyler. I know you you're doing your thing, but within that, I wanted to say I appreciate how you guys are expanding our mindsets. I grew up low income, Section 8, single family household. And so the 401k may not work for everybody, But a lot of people who uh, may want to start a business or have an idea of starting a business. Like I know a ton of people who do hair, a ton of people who do nails, a ton of people who just maybe, hey, I want to do something for my kids. So I think it's totally feasible to start a business for your kid if you have the right information. Another thing is that 529, I experienced personally when I was in college, man. I remember this young lady. We were both like 18, 19 years old, and she's like, "You want to see my new car?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." She had a brand new VW, and I was like, "Dang, like, where'd you get the money for this?" And she's like, "Well, my dad saved up money for college and just gave me 50 grand when I went to school." And it was the first time that I actually experienced this. I mean, obviously this was years ago, but first time meeting somebody and the concept, again, like these are concepts, guys. It's up to us to do the homework, to check with professionals that we know in these fields, and then come back to the table with our questions. And one thing you got to understand too, and I'm not knocking our brother that was on the other end, Lawrence, but you got to understand he's married. A lot of people are not married. So that $22,000, maybe you're working with limited funds and you have to think, I don't like saying thinking outside the box, but maybe you have to work from a different angle because, saying thinking outside the box is putting your thinking in a box. But again, all these concepts that you're hearing, you have to work it from different angles. Everyone, like my mom, she was a brilliant person. My mom, she was a black belt in karate. My mom was really good with her hands and tools, and she actually worked on things, refrigerators, appliances, and you would never know it. I would ask my mom to this day. I would ask her advice on a car before I asked my dad. So the point that I'm making is that my mom still didn't go to college, but she still has an understanding of numbers. Math was her favorite skill. And so everybody's different. And you never know when you're learning these concepts, how it's going to help you. And if you have an open mindset and you study the information that, the Wire Group is using, like, man, I'm a testimony that it will work if you just continue to have an open mindset. Unfortunately, everyone doesn't have a college education. However, there's probably more people without college education with kids that can leverage this information than people with a college education who don't really know about the 401k, So I just want to say that is that, I know we can do both. We can get a college education and we can be entrepreneurs, but the information that's being presented, I just think is very helpful, man. I mean, just to say the least, it's very helpful because now you have access to information for years and years, hundreds of years. Some cultures didn't have access to information. And now that you have access to it, it's all about, making it applicable and leveraging it to your best benefit, and then just keep showing up and keep asking questions because just because you have a college degree or you don't have one doesn't mean that you got it all understood. So that's all I wanted to say, man, is that I appreciate it, and I think it's just phenomenal information.
Thank you very much, guys. And then, look, I understand that this is alarming because it's so much information for people. But I think the main thing that, that what we're trying to do is give you all of the tools. You don't want, look at your financial, there's a word that starts with a D that I always talk about that you have to do when you're building your portfolio. What is it called? Anybody remember?
Diversification.
Diversification, guys. Right? The 401k, I don't care what anybody says. Like, you can tell me that you're maxing your 401k out all day long, but then what happens if the market crash what those stocks are in? What happens if you lose your job and you can't invest in the 401k? You guys you cannot think outside of a box if you keep putting yourself in one. Yeah, and you don't want to show up to what happened if a surgeon came and he only had the damn scissors to cut you open? Okay? The most powerful people are the people who have they're not a one-trick pony, right? So just imagine you are a mechanic, okay? Mechanic has to have a hammer and a screwdriver and different tools in order to get to where he needs to be. But if the hammer's not working, you have another tool that you can use to get you where you need to be, okay? It's not just one thing. It's multiple things that help you get that. And I'm not saying the 401k is bad. It's not this or that. It's this and that. Remember that. When we started this space, now I know we posted college versus this, but we wanted to get and make sure that you guys have these tools. Now you know about what we talked to you guys about. And let me reset the room. You guys learned about the LLC, what states to set them up in, 5 different things that you can set up to generate wealth. LLC, right, is one. UTMA, UGMA, Coverdale, custodial Roth, and 529 account. Just pick 1 or 2 of them to diversify. We talked about the certificate of authority operating agreement that you guys are going to need to set up the business. Okay. And now we're going to wrap up with revocable, irrevocable trust. And that's going to set us up for next Thursday's room. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have these rooms. Okay. So click the little W at the top and get that red ticket off of your profile and then become a member. Above my head, you'll see the replays on this space. We have the LLC explained, and then subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay. And then make sure that you guys get in the space. And then now we're going to talk about these last 2 things and we're going to wrap the room up. Revocable, irrevocable trust. Go ahead and kick it like a sensei, Bruno. I think Bruno in the end is going to take us out. And then I'm going to talk about an example, like I promised you guys, of a property. And then I'm going to read this stuff right now that's in my book from a copy of what a trust looked like. And I'll start with this as we're getting them ready. With regard to funding assets into your trust that are certainly have or may acquire in the future, I'm providing the letter to help you with specifics. You should title any trust assets or beneficiary, which is the person that gets, designed as follows. Bank accounts, CDs, money market accounts. Change the title of the asset to the trust. Credit unions. Make the trust either the owner or the beneficiary of the account. Investment accounts. Change the title of the accounts from your individual account. When you open new accounts, please title them in the trust name. IRAs, 401ks. Make sure the beneficiary for now. When your children are older, you may want to have them being the direct beneficiaries, then due to the tax planning options are available on them. If you wish to discuss this matter further, please give me a call. Life insurance policy. Change the beneficiary on all of your policies to the trust. Now, this is right here. It tells you what to do, guys. Okay? So when we're talking about this stuff, let me give you this other part and then I'm going to be done. Thank you for allowing me to assist you with your estate planning needs. This letter serves as a cover letter for everything to include in this binder. Should you purchase real estate, stocks, bonds, certificates, or deposits, or any valuable assets, please see to that you properly title the assets in the trust name. Okay. Now, with regard to contents of this binder, these documents are located. Anthony Glenn Family Trust, last will and testament of Anthony, advanced health care in the event that something happens to you, uniform statutory form of power of attorney if you was to become incapacitated, certificate of trust and deeds and documents and evidence assets that are held within the trust name. Now, the reason why I'm going through this stuff, guys, is because as you set this stuff up, it tells you everything right here. Now, the tabs: family and marital status, trustee of the estate, it breaks down if anything happens to you. Okay. Remember, your accounts stop when you stop investing in them. When you have assets like a company, that company lives on. That company prints money in generational wealth. The real estate creates generational wealth. The life insurance the policies, depending on how you design them, can create passive income, not active income. So when we're talking about this stuff, this is not my book. I don't have a book, y'all. Maybe I should write one, Tiana. I don't have a book. This right here is my trust from my attorney. Okay. So now let's go over the revocable, irrevocable trust, and then I'll give you guys the quick example of how my daughter will have the $600,000. Ian, go ahead and kick it. And Bruno, whoever wants to jump in, let's talk about the fundamental types of those. And then in the YouTube channel, when you subscribe to the channel, you will get an explanation for free before you go set up your stuff. Go ahead, jump in.
All right, so then we can start by just kind of talking about the terms, right? Revocable and irrevocable. Okay, so, and really just refers to the ability to change or modify something, right? In particular, we're talking about legal documents or a decision within a document. Okay, so revocable is something that can be changed, modified, or canceled at any time by the person who established it. Okay, so it's something that is going to ultimately allow for flexibility and the ability to make adjustments or revoke the decision or document altogether. Okay, so for example, when we're talking about a revocable trust, okay, it's something that can be modified or revoked by the trust creator during their lifetime. Okay, irrevocable. Okay, so it's the opposite of it. So something that cannot be easily changed, modified, or canceled once it's been established. Okay, it generally requires the consent or agreement of all involved parties to make those modifications. So again, going back to the example, so for an irrevocable trust, it typically can be altered or revoked once it's been set up. Okay, now you have a few other exceptions to the rule and other barriers for you to kind of go through. But really, what I want people to take away is the key distinction between the two. Okay, so and it's going to be down to the level of how permanent something is and the flexibility that's associated with the decision or the document itself. Okay, so revocable provides the ability to change or revoke, while irrevocable it's a higher degree of something being finalized and not being able to be modified as easily.
Outstanding. And if you all can see Stack Pack, make sure you make Stack Pack a moderator. Stack, the Clubhouse is acting up, bro. We can't see. Like we can't even invite people up on stage. You guys have to come up, raise your hand and come up. We'll try to bring you up. Okay. So to recap, we talked about all of these things. Now let me give this example. This is the last thing. And for those of you who want the information about LLCs explained, and then also get involved with learning about how the S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietorship, all of that stuff, and trust, we break this down in the YouTube channel. Above my head, you'll see a link. Click that link and subscribe to the YouTube channel and help us get to monetization. We're almost there, guys. We think we need 462 more watch hours. We already have enough members to monetize, but we need the watch hours. So if you guys click that link, it would be a great help to us in regard to that, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Now let's go over this last example of the 35,000 to 600,000. Okay. Bruno, Ian, let's take us out. Can you put the compound interest calculator in the chat again? And then I'm going to go through this scenario, what I did with my daughter, and I'll show you guys a quick scenario. Now, put a 1 in the chat if you guys want me to give that example. Okay, while we're here, we have 45 people here right now, 383 winners that went through the room. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys want us to kick it like a sensei, and I'll show you guys how Carson, my 10-year-old daughter, will have $600,000 to go to college. Okay, Jason, I see you. Marin, I see you. Ian, I am Meek, I see you. Neek, okay. Tiana, I see you. Zarel, Carmen, I see you. Okay, here it is. Okay, Ian posted the compound interest calculator. Click on there. And I want you guys to put these numbers in. And I'll show you guys and tie everything up before we shut down the room. Okay, so let's go with Neek. Neek, are you here? Are you on stage? Neek or Tiana? Or I am Meek? Are you guys on stage right now? Okay. If you guys could post the compound interest calculator on the YouTube channel as well, so they can have it. I mean, in the Facebook group. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and shut down. Okay. Anybody on stage want to volunteer and help me? All you got to do is fill in the blanks. Ooh, this is a good
Now,
one,
you
man.
know people don't want to be put on. Go ahead. What blanks are we filling in?
Who is that? Dr. Ashley?
Hey, y'all. It's me.
Okay. All right. So, okay, here's my daughter. What I did is I bought her a property in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay. And that property I paid $35,000 for. Okay. I get $1,650. Now, this is a cash deal, but still, this could be utilized with depending on how much money you get after you pay the mortgage is going to determine how much money that I can actually get into my get into this. Okay, so let me give you guys this example of this property that I bought in Milwaukee for $35,000, and this property is in her. This property is in. Now they have two. One's in Milwaukee. One is in Toledo, Ohio. One's in California, and one's in Texas. Those are the 4 properties my kids own. Okay. Now let me give you an example. Utilizing the compound interest of the $35,000 one I bought off Clubhouse cash. the after repair value of that property is $91,000. So I've already doubled the value of my house. But let's utilize this for an example. And I want you guys to do this math. Bruno, I want you to do the math with me. And then Ian, I want you to do the compound interest calculator. And then we're going to show them how this works. Y'all ready? Let me know when you're ready. Pull your calculator up and then we'll go through this, okay? Let me know when you're ready, Bruno.
Ready, man.
Okay.
I got the compound interest up too.
Okay, all right. So in that link, okay, I'm gonna start with Bruno first. Bruno, my daughter makes $1,650 for that property. So $1,650 times 12 is what?
It's pulling up. Hold on. It
Man,
froze.
damn Android, man. Damn Android, man.
Is he supposed to be using the compound interest calculator, or are you asking him to use another
No,
tool?
he's using a regular calculator, and Ian's going to use the compound interest calculator. But I want you guys to do this real time. I'm going to give you guys this example, and I'm going to break down my strategy for my kid, okay?
All right. So you said 1650 times
12 months.
Okay, so 1650 times 12 is 19,800.
Okay, that's the gross rent that my daughter gets for that property. What's the number? Can you put it in the chat? Okay, put it in the chat so you guys can follow along, because we're gonna be doing a little bit of math. And now I need my bearded person. Make sure you back up, Bruno, because you know he's on that T-Mobile sidekick. Okay, all right. So so and follow along in the chat right now and do the math, and y'all can put the answers in the chat. Okay, 1650 times 12 is 19,800. That is gross rent. That's all of the rent that I have coming in, but I got to subtract money for operating costs, which is 10%. So you're gonna take that 19,800 and minus 10, and then the percent sign equals, what do you get?
1,980.
Okay, I'm gonna subtract. Put it in the chat. Okay, he's putting it in the chat so you guys could do this. So 19,800 minus 10, and then the percent sign equals, my net rent is going to be $17,820. Okay, that's my net rent. Gross rent is all of the money that I have coming in. The reason why I'm minus 10% is for any 8% for a property manager, and then 2% for incidentals, that if anything happens to the house, I can fix it. Okay, that's why I use 10%. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the compound. Now I'm going to take that number, the $17,820, and how can I figure out the percentage of return on my money? Ian, tell me what I got to do.
You take your net income and you divide by your purchase price. You take the small number divided by the big number.
Okay, so I paid $35,000 for the property. I put $15,000, so for a total of $50,000 investment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that $17,820 and do it exactly the way I'm telling you to. Don't put no dots or don't do anything else. Just do it exactly the way I'm saying. $17,820. Put that in your calculator. You're going to take that and divide by $50,000. Just do it exactly the way I'm saying it, and then put equals. So $17,820 divided by $50,000. You should get 0.35. Is that it? Now, did you get that, Bruno? That's correct.
Yes, sir.
So essentially what I did is
356.
I'm getting 35% return on my money year over year. Now let's go to the compound interest calculator, and let me show you guys how my daughter will have close to $600,000 utilizing this strategy. Now I'm going to use the gross rent, the $19,850 to $1,650 per month income, because the property value, does it go up or down?
It goes up.
It goes up. Okay, and if property values goes up, what else is going to go up? Rent, right? Okay. Now, this is the reason why this is the reason why we talk to you guys about the 401k stuff. Okay. Now, I don't have to do anything for that money to come in because that property is registered on Section 8. So that's called reoccurring income. What is reoccurring income in 30 seconds or less, Bruno?
Something that just happens over and over and over again.
Bingo. As long as I have tenants in that property value is going to go up, and then I get that property is going to print money. That's called passive income. Active income requires for me to do something. That means I have to work to invest in the 401k for the 401k to generate income. If I stop investing in the 401k, then the money can't grow, with the exception of the money that I'm subject to the interest that money is going to accrue or compound over time. But the real estate prints money every single month. Okay. Now, let's take this. Now, Ian, you got the compound interest calculator up?
I guess we still listening to these pyramid scheme ass niggas. On God, fuck you niggas is broke. I mean, you niggas ain't rich.
Thank
You
you.
know you niggas. Yeah, but you a pyramid scheme nigga. You fuck black people up, nigga.
Thank
Niggas like
you.
you is why niggas is broke, kid.
Thank you,
Niggas
bro.
make more money
I
off PPP
appreciate that.
loans.
Can y'all
Fuck
get
you
him off
broke.
stage, please?
Yeah, fuck you, nigga. Get me off stage with your bald ass. Go get some money for that turkey replacement.
Thank you
Bitch,
very
get that
much.
hair done, nigga. Get that hair transplant done.
We appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. That's a person that person right there perfectly. That's an example of a person that makes no money. Okay, those are called trolls. Okay, they come in the room, they troll, they look at the people, and be careful with the people that come on stage, because people like that. Okay, those are the people that come in and try to troll people. We have receipts. It's called Google. If you look up Google, we're not selling anything goofy. Okay, if you look on Google, we're not selling anything. We're not selling anything. We're not financial advisors. We're giving information away. Okay. So you can go back to your life, and hopefully whatever it is that you're doing, that you have a great peace in trolling people. All right, let's get back to the topic. Okay. Never lower your elevation to chicken mentality, man. Stay an eagle. Okay. All right. So we have the compound interest calculator up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the initial investment?
$16.50.
$16.50 is the initial investment. What is the monthly contribution?
$16.50.
Okay, now what's the next field?
Length of time in years.
Length of time in years is going to be 15 years. My daughter bought that property at 3. And by the time she's 18, my interest rate variance is going to be 8% and 10% because it fluctuates. We just showed you the S&P 500 gives you an average return of anywhere from 8 to 10%, 8 to 18%, 12% over the last 10 years is what you're investing in. So now, what numbers do I have, Ian?
All right, so we got $16.50 initial investment, a $16.50 reoccurring investment, a length of time in years at 15, estimated interest rate
8 and 10% for the
right.
interest rate and the interest rate variance range.
Check. All right, so calculate. We are coming up to, in 15 years, that property will generate $542,000.
$542,000 with that property. What does that sound like? 1 will get you 5. That's Ian's mantra. That means that my daughter at 18 will have close to $600,000. And this is on the low end, right? Rent's going to go up. She's going to get more than $16.50 over time. Now I could buy a property near the college institution. Okay. I can get a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom property, put twin beds in each room, rent those 6 bedrooms out for $2,000. Okay. All right. So if I got 3 rooms with 2 beds in it, how many beds is that, Ian?
6 beds.
6 beds. What's $2,000 times 6?
That is $12,000.
So now I gross $12,000 a month because I have a rental property near the college institution. I go underneath the college tuition now, and I already have the LLC set up. And then now my kid at 18 generates money infinitely. So when she graduates from college, does she still have the property? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now she's graduating from undergrad with a property that prints money. Now, Ian, go back to that compound interest calculator, and I want to do one more thing.
Check.
Let's just say that she keeps that property for 2 generations. Generation is anywhere from 20 to 30 years. That's what a generation is. Let's say she keeps that property until she has kids. So let's say that instead of 15 years, let's do 30 years that she had that property. Put 30 in there. How much money will she have in 30 years?
$2,259,000.
That, my friend, is how you create generational wealth. Okay? That's how you create generational wealth. That's the
Can I
plan.
just thank you for giving the plan and showing people through real life experiences and knowledge a plan that works? That's to be commended. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashley. And guys, listen, man, I love the trolls, man. You know why? Because, you know, while they over there losing, trolling on Clubhouse, you guys could get in here and win by learning how to. We gave you the accounts. We gave you the information for free. We didn't ask y'all to subscribe. We didn't ask you to pay for anything. We gave all of this information out for free. Okay. And I'm going to tell y'all something. We could have easily shut down the room. Clubhouse got all goofy. The room is not that big, but for those of you who stayed, you got some game that can change the life of all of y'all. Okay. So, you guys pay $2,000 rent a month near the university for a little bed. Okay. So think about it like this. That's just an example. In San Diego, yes. I'm in San Diego right now. College tuition. You think about this. Okay. Max. Okay. How much does it cost for tuition? Let's do this real time so we can make sure that people see this. Can anybody tell me what room and board for San Diego State University is right now? Anybody, can y'all Google that? Somebody Google what is the tuition to stay on base? I mean, to stay on campus for a 1-bedroom shack on the campus, a college room, a dorm. How much does it cost?
$12,824 for housing and $6,344 for dining in 2021 at SDSU. So together, that's $19,000 plus dollars.
Thank you very much. Okay. So are you now?
That's only for what, the academic year?
Right. Now this is now I'm like I said, we only debate with facts, guys. Okay. So now, of course, if it's going to be at Mississippi State University, it's not going to be that much, right? And then obviously you're not going to buy a $500,000 a $35,000 property, and we're talking about where the property is located. Let's go to do me a favor, Ian, and tell me what it costs to stay on campus. Just somebody Google what it costs to stay on campus at what's a college near Milwaukee? Can anybody tell me real quick, and then we're going to end the room. Okay. Anybody tell me what it cost? I'm gonna Google it right now just so I can see. I'm gonna do it real time. Okay. What college is near Milwaukee? My daughter's
University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I'll type that one in.
Okay, University of Wisconsin. Let's go for that. What does it cost to stay on what is a dorm on that? What does it cost to keep that 1-bedroom, that little 1 bed, okay, on campus?
Let's see here. 2023 UWM tuition and fees. It's tuition. Hold on. Sorry. Room and board.
10,373. 10,373.
10,373. Okay. So what is that? Let's do this math. Okay. 10,373 divided by 12. That's $864. So let's just talk about this, okay? $864. Do you think your kid wants to live on or off campus? Bingo.
Most likely off campus.
There you go. So off campus. So $864. Let's just say that room and board was $700. That's $164 less to live off campus, right? $700 a bed times 6. That's $4,200 of income a month. So when we're talking about these strategies, guys, this is a now, are they going to be there the entire time? No. But why not do a short-term rental? What usually happens after your senior year of college, you have what at the end of the year?
You have graduation.
Graduations. You understand what I'm saying? So if I have graduations, I can do short-term what?
Short-term rentals for the people that are visiting and coming in.
homecoming games. This is just a strategy. It's not, I'm not telling you guys. Now, that strategy for my daughter, I just showed you guys that, she can rent that bed out for anywhere from anywhere from $400 to $600. I'm going to be conservative as long as I'm lower than the college tuition if I'm right by the school, right? So, it scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand is what creates value in property. Now, for my daughter, as long as she gets roommates, I've already prepaid her college because she has a business that's print money, which is the house. So when she gets ready to go to school, I don't care what she rents the rooms out for, because I've already have the $600,000 saved up from me buying that property that prints $1,650 a month. Okay. Any questions? This is it now. Well, we gotta go, man. Who else?
No, we had one in the chat, Tony. So Husan Thompson, I think maybe he can restructure his question, because I don't really understand what he says. So that may be per semester. So maybe 2 times. Please clarify. So Husan, what do you mean by that, brother?
Anybody else want to come up and ask the question? Come on stage, because when you type in the chat, sometimes it's not able to. Max, did you
I
get what
think
I was
he's
saying?
probably. Hey, Anthony,
He's up here. He's up here.
can I try at that?
Hold on, just get 1 second. 1 second. I want to give him an opportunity to say what he. Max, did that example work for you, brother? Was that good or what? What did you think? Did you understand? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys understood what I was talking about. Put a 2 in the chat if you did not understand. Now remember that property is registered for Section 8, so that means that the government is paying the that's 100% stipend. So the Section 8 is actually paying the rent for the property. She's, so this property is going to print money as long as a tenant is in there.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Anthony, for having me on stage. It's a real pleasure. I was curious when she quoted you the amount for room and board, whether or not that amount was a per semester amount or if that was an annual amount. Because if it was that much per semester, then you have to go 2x. That was my point.
Oh, that's right. Yep, you're right.
I got an academic year for that number for the University of Wisconsin, and room and board for SDSU. They say that is annual room and board costs.
Okay, yeah. So guys, that's an example or a tool that you guys could use to get to the bag, right? I just showed you a real prop.
Get to the big bag.
Yep, Stack, tell them. That's the part that I wanted to share with you guys. And does anybody have any questions before we shut down, man? We killed it. 3 hours in this room. I'm tired, man. But guess what, man? Ian, Bruno, we got through it, y'all. Put a 1 in the chat at this.
Tony,
Go ahead.
okay, my bad.
Put a 1 in the chat.
So I think what I wanted to add, man, was the thing that man, it's funny, man, because like we had like so many coming from different directions, okay, but so the takeaway that people should be having, to the people that are listening, okay, these are options that are given to you on different perspectives and different things for you to get started. The biggest hurdle, listen to me, the biggest hurdle that people will have, the biggest barrier that they will have difficulty in getting over, is having the ideas on where to get started, what it is that you can actually put into action. Everyone is going to go ahead and say, well, I mean, like if you, for any strategy, you can try to pick it apart and try to find holes and poke the this and the that and the ifs, and it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is a way for you to have the thing that you need to gather up for you to take the very first step so that you can make the progress that you need. You are going to need to make adjustments along the way. Everything that was laid out today isn't going to play out exactly how this is. Okay. So the way that it was explained doesn't mean that is exactly how it's going to go, for the good or the bad. Okay. So when COVID happened, okay, everyone talks about real estate and it appreciates and this. Everyone's always skeptical about how there could be a market crash and everything else. Nobody anticipated the pandemic to have the effects that it had on the market when it came to real estate. Things shot through the roof and everything went significantly above what anybody predicted. A property that I purchased that I was expecting a conservative 7 to 13% of appreciation over a year, It doubled in value in less than 4 years. I did not expect that. So again, you're going to need to make your adjustments. You're going to need to do your due diligence that Tony keeps talking about, right? The reason why you want to check with your financial advisors, with your attorneys, and everything else is there are risks and mitigating factors that have to be taken into consideration. You can only reach those things and take those actions once you reach out to find out what those risks are and then account for those things and put things in place. But if you sit here and you try to, dissect and find all the holes and all the problems, all you are doing is creating an excuse on why it is that you shouldn't do something. So then you're going to sit there and then you're going to come back in the next room and then you're not going to have taken any sort of action whatsoever. And you're going to dwell on the fact of like, oh, but what if, well, this can happen. Well, what if, because I'm telling you, if you focus on the risks and talk about how, what, man, if you get behind a car and then you drive and somebody hits you and T-bones you at the intersection, you could potentially pass away. Well, then you're never going to go anywhere because you're going to stay home and say, you know what, I'm just going to stay in my house and hope that a fire doesn't get me or something else happens to me. I'm going to stay in this bubble. You're not going to win. You're not going to make any progress. And you're only going to have the excuses. So this right here is the hard truth and the things that a lot of people aren't going to tell you because of your friends. They want you to be comfortable and nobody wants you to be unhappy with them. So they want you to like them. So they're not going to tell you the things that you need to be told. And just get your ass up, go do something different. You're getting all the tools and everything laid out for you. What the hell is your excuse going to be next? I'll land my plane there, man.
Very well said, guys. And
Jeez.
and this is what I want to say, man. Like,
Wow.
look, this is the part that I wanna make sure that you guys stop taking advice for somebody that has never done what you're trying to do. This was an informational room, guys. So if how are they going to tell you not to do something that they're not doing themselves? So how do they know if it works or not?
Facts, Anthony. You need to be like. Let me say something.
Come on, man.
You can't take advice from someone that's not doing great things or that's not a giant or that's not already paved the way. This is why I love coming into winning real estate. I love supporting Anthony, the crew, right? Because you guys are doing it, not just talking about it. You guys are actively doing the work. Throw some fire emojis in the chat. I was supposed to come back in, Anthony. I had a call in and back. I'm coming in right now. Put some fire emojis in the chat because we are doing the work, not just talking about it. Now, when you just talk about it, you're just gonna let everything go past. Y'all heard what Bruno just said. Y'all let everything just go past your head, go past your ear. No, you need to be actively doing it. It doesn't matter if you need to show up on social media every day. Doesn't mean if you need to be doing the ABCs that Anthony talks about. Always be. You need to be showing up every day, and you also need to be taking these gems and implementing it into your business. That's what a lot of people go wrong right there, Anthony. They'll come in, they'll listen to the gems, but are you guys really picking it up and then putting it into your business and actually putting the fire into it so it can get to the next level? So take the gems and implement. Don't forget that. Don't just sit here, yeah, that was a great room with Anthony. Yeah, I'm a good, and then just forget about everything and don't go into your business and apply what you've been learning. So great job, Anthony. 10x vets, winning real estate, big stack, no slack. Let's go.
So there's this quote that
Oh
says,
yeah, Ashley's coming out on a magazine soon. Let's go. Sierra just came out like yesterday on LA Times. So Ashley's coming out soon. You heard? Let's go.
"Oh, thank you, Stack. I was just featured in 3 other magazines in the state of South Carolina this week
Woo-hoo.
as well. So, South Carolina, well, Columbia, Greenville, and Charleston's magazines. Women Businesswoman of the Year 2023, one of the Businesswomen of the Year. But what I was about to say, Stack, is that there's this quote that says, if you don't want their life, don't take their advice. If you don't want their advice.
She tried to kick it like some. She tried to kick it like those. What's those
I'm trying to
nuggets,
kick it like a
Anthony?
sensei, like
No,
you should
it's
Oh,
the
never
that's
be
hot
hard.
doing.
grease nuggets, the hot Chick-fil-A nuggets. You got it cooking right.
I'm trying to
Man.
kick it like a sensei like them. But listen, when you hear that quote, if you don't want their life, don't take their advice. That's not to put anyone on a pedestal. That's not to glamorize or over sensationalize anyone. But what that is to do for you is to let you know that some people have more credibility than others. And Anthony and his team, they are documented, they are tested, they are tried and true. They have credibility for what they're doing. And so when you hear someone with so much expertise and insight and knowledge, that's who you want to take heed to. That's who you want to learn from. That's who you want to guide you along the journey. So you want to make sure you continue to stay tapped in, because there have been some things that I have personally learned from Anthony and the team. I have implemented. You heard Stack Pack say, take action. Implementation is important. And I do want to underscore that you may not be able to take action on every single thing at the same time. Your capacity may not permit you to do that, and that's okay. Make a list of the things that you want to take action on. Make a list of the things that you've learned today and in other rooms that you've been inspired by, motivated by. Make a list of those things and then develop your own personal action plan for how you're going to achieve the things that you have listed. But most importantly, take action on something. So I too have a list that I am actively working on. I am implementing different things every day. I am challenging myself. I am growing even more because of all of the information that I've gained and learned right here in this room. So kudos to you, Anthony and Ian and Bruno and the team. I appreciate you greatly.
And I want to say in closing, guys, shout out to my man Jason J Spears. Okay, this gentleman saw me since 2003, actually 2004, build this empire from scratch, right? So make sure you follow all of the moderators that are on stage right now: myself, Stack Pack, Ian, Sierra, Bruno. All of the moderators that are on stage right now. I can't see the mod beans because Clubhouse is acting all goofy, but I also will tell you this, man. Continue to introduce yourself until people are introducing you. We're here to teach you what we know to get to where we're at, right? And sometimes how about trying the information instead of knocking the information, man? Make sure you guys get in here, share the space, continue to rock out. Guys, we will be here on Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with another hot topic. For those of you who have the red tickets, make sure you click the link above my head and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need your help. As a matter of fact, here's the deal. How many people do we have in here right now, y'all? 40? Okay, here's what I want to... 42? Here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to click the link above my head, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and put done in the chat right now. Let's see if we can get all 40 people to subscribe. If you could do that, that'll be amazing. And for those of you who are on Facebook, I'd like for you guys to subscribe and help us get louder in this industry. Now, the best way to learn from a millionaire is to support one. So if you want to become a millionaire, support us as we grow through this space. And then I'm proud to announce that we have just landed a deal with Grant and Elena Cardone by being loud in the veteran market. And we wouldn't have been able to do that if it was not for you guys supporting us. So you guys are equally important as the people who are on stage right now.
Anthony, can you please expand on being loud too before you go, brother? Like on and how important that was for you in business too, like being more louder, because you already had the value. But can you talk about how important it was to be more louder, please?
And what the loud
man,
led to, like what is the
y'all got me, y'all killing me, man. Y'all
Yep.
killing me, man. I'm
Let's
trying
go,
to get out of here, man. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, man. Hey, listen, check this out.
I am too.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm fasting, trying to get this body right for Miami, because we got to go to Miami. Bruno would tell you right now, we're going to Miami. The reason why we were able to land this deal is because of help by people like Stack Pack and Ashley, and everybody who comes to this space and help us get bigger. Stack Pack getting on me about my social media, Ashley helping me set up this space to help build out this thing. And we landed a multi-million-dollar deal with Grant and Elena Cardone to call 10X Vets, which is personal professional development for military spouses, through helping them create a business that could be movable from state to state. And the VA Loan Masterclass, how you can partner with a vet with the VA Loan Masterclass. and buying properties, multi-units with the VA loan, and then also mentoring and coaching for real estate professionals, and buying or building a business with veterans. So we were the biggest app, the loudest people in the VA space that helped us land that deal. And we want to personally say thank you guys. So thank you all for doing that. Make sure you give Stack Pack, Dr. Ashley a follow, and make sure you follow all of the moderators on the stage. Guys, I got to roll out.